Hello, everybody, and welcome back to MIRRORMOURN. I am your Dungeon Master, Esper, and as usual, we have our crew of 4 players with us. Guys, why don't you introduce your characters, and we'll start.
Hi everyone, I'm Warsor and I play Walykos, the level 3 Paragon of the Trickster.
I'm Vince and I am playing Vapor, the Wild Magic Sorcerer.
I'm Nick. I am playing Adriel, the swashbuckler rogue.
And I'm Adam, and I'm playing Aygir, who, since everyone else has just said a class, is an Artificer. He's also a Hobgoblin, if that's relevant.
So, a quick thing at the beginning, I have actually updated the Haven Isle map, which I know that was long overdue. But I finally think I got into my groove on it, so yay for that. So we are here where we've been
New
spending
map.
this camp. Come again?
New map?
Updated map.
Yes.
Yeah. Significant update, I would say. So thus far, the campaign has been focusing primarily on this sub-island of Haven Isle, centered largely around Barnacle, a large city that is converted out of an old giant mega city, as in giants built it and dwelt there. And it was like a mega castle in their day. And we've got some other places you've been to. Yeah, there's the coastal cave. There's Kerblixa with a little temple. And we'll probably be seeing more, and this map will probably expand as maps tend to do and as campaigns go along. So for now, we are in Barnacle still, when we are specifically beneath the crumble. And as the title of the adventure shows, we are on part 3 of the lava dungeon, or the lava ruins, maybe we will say, as it is quite ruined, and there is maybe it was a mishap or maybe intentional, you don't know, but elemental fire has wreaked havoc and kind of gone amok in this section of these ruins beneath the crumble. It's of interest to you because you're trying to secure this area and potentially set up a base. You've actually started setting up a base in a different, kind of adjacent section we're calling the Arcane Sanctum.
Slightly less fiery, but a little bit more acidic place.
Yes. So you seem to have the Arcane Sanctum pretty well under control now. You cleared out the monsters there and you figured out the traps, and there's this crawl space. So we'll see if something becomes the little crawl space thing. Now, the lava ruins, you all have really spent some time both fighting lingering construct guardians left behind by the giants of old. And you've also done a bit of exploration and investigating and trap interactions. Someone was able to bypass this wall of fire.
Dispel magic.
We used Dispel magic, yeah. I think Vapor used it, actually, yeah.
Yes, you got a scroll of Dispel magic from Conus Spindle, and you were successful in your Dispel attempt. And you recovered some treasure from this collapsed vault on the other side. You know that these stairs are leading down into a connecting chamber, which has a arcane lift of sorts, and the lift can hold a limited number of people, and each person needs to use an obsidian shard, which is basically like a key to function. So at the moment, you have one of these obsidian shards, which mean only one person could use the lift at the moment. Wait, you have just the one obsidian shard, is that right? Yes. You just have the one. Okay. This is
unless you would like to give us more than one, but yes, we only found the one.
I'm trying to pull from my memories here. So
no, we found 4 obsidian shards in the vaults last time. Don't you remember?
4 slivers of obsidian in your heart.
Just
okay. Death by trap. Yeah. There is a magical trap here that I believe you all just have let it
around.
Be. Yeah, you noticed it, so you just let it be.
Yep.
This way here leads to it's either a collapse or just an unfinished tunnel.
Yep.
let's see. Up here is a wall of fire, which actually radiates on this side.
Yep.
So you don't know what's beyond that. Here is an opaque, hovering, thick
Steam.
Yeah, it's a cloud. It's like a smoldering smoke cloud. It's thick smoke that you can't see through. It's opaque, and when you stepped into it, it was burning you. Actual fire damage.
Yep.
There's a number of different corridors and ruined chambers. There's this area which seems to have an actual pit, not a part that had broken, but an actual created pit with lava at its core. I don't think there are any active creatures left, not in these areas that you've explored through.
Yeah, so before you go through and describe every last detail, let's just to our characters talk for a moment.
Yes.
Vapor's going to ask, can they get out of the heat before we have any detailed discussion?
Well, Walykos is going to turn to everyone, as you said, and he says, I believe that we have accomplished everything that we can here without further magical dispel magics to destroy that wall or further obsidian shards to use the elevator.
What, do you mean you don't just want to go alone and find out for yourself what is beyond up or down? No? I kid, I jest.
It would be reckless at this time when there's no reason to risk such a reckless course.
Well, then you tell me. It seems that it was your contact who told us to go in here and hone our skills further to use in Blackrock. So, do you think we are ready to go there? Is it time to leave?
Walykos leans on this new trident that he had been, given. That's basically Aquaman's trident. If you've seen, DC comics, and he looks at it, and he just looks back. He says, "I think we have gained great boons by coming to this place. Some of us more than others, unfortunately. But
whatever you say, that thing gives me fishy feelings."
Indeed. Well, I think that we should head back, get a full night's rest, take care of any unfinished business in the city tonight that you may wish to take care of. Adriel, we should return to your house.
The Mantevels.
Well, Mantevel is
Mantevel.
your family, right?
Yeah, we should go back to... I thought I wrote it down.
I thought I did too. I'm looking for it. The Storm Tower district.
Yeah,
it's a district. Yeah.
Yeah. It's all district. The Storm Tower is the predominant structure there, and then you dwell in a nearby tower that's not as grand as the Storm Tower.
Do we have the name of it?
The name of your house? I guess
Yeah.
it would have a name. We can make up a name for it. So, what would be a subsidiary of the Storm Tower?
Adriel's home. Just
Well, you have the roost up in the uppermost layer of it, so it could be something roost.
It's our bat cave, but it's just the roost.
Uh-huh.
All right. We'll think of something later.
We'll think of something later, yeah.
I suggest that Adriel and I return to his home.
Veiled roost.
Get a rest there, because we've been gone several days without really giving them any, where we are. We're off on business, obviously, but we should prepare for our journey and meet in the morning at the West Gate, I believe. Esper, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, I guess I should have included that in the brief recap at the beginning. The greater scheme of things is for you to have gained in skill, competence, items, etc. through this lava ruins. Core gain, your contact, Walykos, suggested that to you heartily, because the bigger plot really is to find a way to get to Black Rock Isle to intercept or beat a party that was sent out by Vale Vonder to recover supposedly a dangerous relic that has been buried on the accursed Blackrock Isle for decades.
Yep.
Yep, Adriel is cool with going back to the cave, to the Mantevel cave.
Well, it's not really a cave. It's actually a tower. I think the Veiled Roost sounds really nice.
And we should also, before we leave, check in with Master Connor Spindle. Thank you. Because he had that teleportation gate.
The painting.
The painting.
Scroll thing.
We should see if he's made any headway in a day on it. I doubt, it's been 2 days, maybe? After we rested, it'll been 2 days.
Yes, it's been a day, because we spent a day down here, then we went out there, then we came back.
Yeah.
Let's see before we leave if there's anything that we can utilize there, because that could be of great help to us if we could take it with us.
Yeah, for sure.
Good. And he might impart some last bit of knowledge on us, too, that might be useful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sounds good.
I do have something that might be helpful with if he is unable to fix it. I can at least levitate one of us, and if we all grab on, might be able to slow our fall if it does deposit us in the sky.
Oh, you mean where its current destination is? I'm pretty sure that just can be changed.
As I said, if it's unable to be changed and we still need to use it, I will remember to save that unique ability that I am able to
If it's
cast.
unable to be changed, why would we use it if it just takes us up into the air?
I
Just to
suppose
fall
we
back
could trick somebody into using it, which it's very much not like.
Step through this portal that looks like just an empty space in the air, and I'm sure that riches beyond your wildest dreams will...
See, now you're getting it.
Well, the other option is the giants had placed some sort of secret base up there.
See, what we need is 2 paintings. One painting over top of this painting that we can change the image with the illusion to make it look like gold and riches. And then they step through it into the actual painting, and they fall to their death.
Now, Vapor, this is not some child's story about the clouds dead below and the clouds above, and some young boy plants some crop and it grows and he climbs. And
Vapor starts doing
that for a while.
As we're having this little banter, I imagine we're walking towards the exit.
Yes.
Yeah, we're not just standing there and,
Yeah.
Especially if it's Vapor involved. I assume he wants to go.
He wants to
no,
walk
Vapor, he's if they're leaving, he's literally leading the pack out.
All right, Vapor is
because his clothes is just like
Vapor, you don't happen to have illusion magic, do you? Like minor
Unfortunately, I would need to grow more experience before I could channel that sort of magic.
Mm-hmm. Thus far, I don't think we've seen you using illusion magic.
The only one that's really close to it would be prestidigitation. But other than that, he has not used any sort of illusion magic.
You don't have like minor illusion or anything?
No, when I made Vapor, I wasn't thinking of needing minor illusion or anything like that.
You've learned a lot through Vapor.
I do think illusion magic would be fitting for a character named Vapor, though.
Yes, it would, and I'm looking forward. If I can make it to the next level, there's a lot of spells movement that's going to be happening.
I was going to say the lower level illusions are kind of like hit or miss, but honestly, major illusion is where it's at.
Yeah, I'm just hoping I can level up and soon, and I can start messing with the spells a bit more.
Well, we'll see what happens on our journey.
We're exiting the lava ruins into what we've dubbed the long corridor, which will get you back to the other side where your Arcane Sanctum is.
Yep. Get attacked.
Hey,
random encounter.
Any final things?
Well, I mean, his usual MO would be to linger just a little bit and see if there's just one more secret he can find, although it really does seem like they've exhausted everything there is to see in this place.
you've already lingered for each one of those places.
Exactly. Is there anything that seems new or different? Because otherwise, I don't think he would stick behind.
Make an intelligence check.
Just intelligence, not even a skill. All right.
Yeah, just raw intelligence. So Aygir
Sounds
there
good.
at the threshold of the lava ruins. I imagine him
Straight up
pausing and looking.
Well, it's not his most intelligent moment. He rolled a 12.
Surely you've looked at everything in here. There's
All right.
nothing. No stone has been left unturned.
I mean, yeah.
In and out of character, I feel like that's been the case so far.
I mean, maybe Esper would have been like, "Oh, but you could have found that secret door." But
Perhaps, but maybe that's not in the cards today or the dice.
who has the key card, if I may ask, to the elevator?
Yeah,
Just
I
like-
figured I've been holding on to it, just
Okay.
like I kind of have been with the Fire Giant's hexatile. I figure
I'm
I
fine
figure
with that. I just wanted to establish who had it.
Yeah,
So,
Okay.
I have it written down.
okay.
And then Walykos, you are holding the aquatic, the magic trident,
Which is going to take a
and
long
Vapor,
rest.
you got the discovered scroll of fireball,
Yep.
which was the perfect random treasure find in the lava ruins.
Oh wait, this weapon doesn't take attunement. Never mind.
So, it sounds like you're going back to your Arcane Sanctum to do a long
Yeah.
rest. Is that right? Or are you
Yeah.
just going back to your homes?
I feel like going home at this point makes more sense because there's stuff we need to do in town
Yeah.
more than we need to do down here. We've been down here for like 3 days.
Although at this point, I think, like before we came down here the first time with some expectation of danger, Aygir more or less cleared everything useful out of his literal barnacle, giant barnacle in Klingstead, in which he's been renting for a while.
Okay.
So I think he might actually just be moving down here once we've got it a bit established.
You can stay
But-
here. Yeah, that's fine.
Well, anyway, he has a thing to do.
Okay.
All right. So Aygir and Vapor, you all exit the crumble, and Aygir and Vapor
Yeah.
go back to
Vapor would need to go back to his place.
Yep. Okay. You go back to Klingstead, which is a rather poorer district up on the kind of northeast section of Barnacle, where actual large barnacle shells cling to walls, and there are a number of suspended walkways and platforms.
Although
up
Aygir
there.
keeps walking because he's on his way to the Sprawl. Is it called?
The tangle.
Just the Tangle, yes, just outside the city where the
yeah.
Fearbolgs live,
Yes.
or
yeah.
whatever they're actually called in this
Fearbolgs,
setting.
yep.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Real quickly, I was going to let you know what Vapor would be doing because now they have that place pretty much secure. He's going to start moving stuff to make potions and stuff, all his supplies into their area, so that way he doesn't need to be using his little apartment for that.
Is that something that you're wanting to do right away, right now?
As long as he's able to get a long rest, he would do what he can. But it would just be starting like at least if he can't move it, he would at least getting it ready to move it as soon as he could.
I'll leave it up to you. If you think Vapor has the energy left in him to sort of move house, and the time as you're with some urgency to get out and leave, start your trek tomorrow.
He would at least pack. I don't think he would move it, but he would at least start packing the stuff so that way he can move when they're all done with their next adventure.
Maybe he has this full intention of, I'm going to get all my stuff moved to the Arcane Sanctum, and you get home and you look at your barnacle, and okay, then you start organizing and packing, and you're really tired. You've lost a lot of moisture. You've sweat so much.
Yeah, he realizes, you know what? I'm just going to organize this a bit so it's packed, ready to go, and then as soon as he looks at his bed and just face plants, passed out.
Honestly, if I would have been thinking, I probably should have had like exhaustion checks going on in that dungeon. But
Yeah, that would have been a kind of interesting.
Next time, I'll remember next time.
Yes, Esper. Next time, kill Vapor.
We'll see. We'll see.
Vapor is going to come back to haunt you as a ghost.
Aygir, so you actually are continuing on, and you want to go to the Tangle. Okay, so for that you go out the port gate, and you're in the wharf district. Now that I'm looking at this, I still see I need to clean up some of this art a little bit, but it is better than before. And so you actually travel along the wharf northwards until it begins to show these large mushroom formations, mutapods, as we'll call them. They once were sea-dwelling jellyfish-like creatures, and then they, at a mid-life cycle portion, come onto land, root themselves in, and become a fungus. And their tendrils hang down like beaded curtains. And there are a number of other fungi and caps and such that grow amongst them. But you enter into a woods of giant mushrooms. Some of them are so old they have petrified. And you travel for a better part of the day. And when it's into an early evening time, you come here to the Fearboard Village. I should probably put a title, Fearboard Village, right here. They have a beach as well.
So I go in there. I don't really have any particular thing on the agenda this time, but more just wanting to stop by and once again pay a respect to them who really my first and only friend I made in Barnacle was, of course, one of them, D'Amico, who is still missed and is still remembered, and his memory is still preserved, despite however many people might try to rob his grave. So I'll approach the elders and greet them in Sylvan the way that D'Amico taught me.
You are greeted likewise by the wise men, Candela, and also, as usual, there are a number of other Fearbolgs that are nearby, curious to listen in and curious to look at this strange man who, to you, you seem short and funny colored. Wow, you have like a rusty orangish coloration, and you're rather... I guess Fearbolgs are quite hairy, so maybe they wonder.
They're the only people in or around Barnacle taller and hairier than I am. Yeah.
Did you get burned?
Well, burned is not quite the right word for it, but.
Did you roll around in clay? Asks a Fearbolg girl.
Oh no, I wish. It was not clay. It was worse. You should see the other guy.
Wiseman Candela is rather patient, and he lets the children and other curious folk of the village ask you their questions. And he sits back with a patient smirk on his face.
So, Candela, I am of course not here just for idle talk, for nothing else. I am not. My words are not as a blanket; they are as a spear. They have a point. I have come here.
Is a busy one, Aygir. I would expect nothing else.
Well, as it happens, I'm going to be away from the city for a while. Not sure when I will return. I sincerely hope I return. But before I go, I wanted to make to you once again a small gift in the memory and to honor the duty that I was given my word to keep in the name of D'Amico. And of course, if that happens to be sufficient enough to suffice in exchange, you do know, of course, that your grove sheen is second to none, and that my associates and I do not use it for profane purposes, if not quite the original intention of holy ceremony.
You continue to abide by D'Amico's wishes?
Was that a question?
It seemed to be.
Yes, I should say so. He does not speak to me, but I would like to think that I am honoring what he would want me to do.
I know you as a man of honor, yes. And this brings comfort to my old heart. Though I have been wearied and saddened by many turns of events. When I see your face, I remember that it is good that we have contact with the folk of Barnacle and beyond. It is good that we make these exchanges. If you continue to honor his ways, to not make our sacred smoke an item of street mercantilism or aristocratic dominance, then you carry D'Amico's spirit everywhere you go, and through this he continues to live. This eases our pain.
I know that Grove Sheen is not a political bargaining tool, nor is it anything that anyone on the street can just buy. Or at least not at this quality, not from those who would produce it in the proper manner. I am one who believes in the proper way of treating things. You certainly are not mistaken about that.
Though your ways are not our own, I see that in this regard our paths do at least cross.
The forest and the steppe are not so different in that way.
Some of the children made gifts for you as well.
Oh,
Come
did they
now,
now?
come now. And you see some of the young ones, which, a number of them are actually your height or close to it, even though they're not adults. So here they come, these hairy, sea-colored, half-giant creatures, and the little ones, as they are called. And they bring you an array of necklaces, bracelets, and anklets that are all woven of seashells and little bits of petropods. It looks like a bunch of jewelry, tribal jewelry, beaded things.
All right, when I long rest, I'm absolutely incorporating these into my armor.
They made a lot of them because there's a bunch of these kids and young adolescents, and it looks like each one of them made at least one. Some of them made multiples of varying grades of quality. You see a couple that are just about ready to fall apart in your hand, and then others which are solid. And you see one of the young boys, that one of the smallest ones there. What did you bring something for us? And another older one shushes him. Shh, do not be rude.
Did I bring anything for them? I will hand...
brought us a lot of money.
I will hand them each something that's not explicitly written on my character sheet, but I would think it's possible for me to have, which is that they each get one of the smallest possible claws from those giant crabs we were fighting back over near Chumswick and Kerblixa.
Okay.
And a nice, maybe with the flesh pulled out of it, so it isn't like some stinking rotten thing that I'm handing them, but a piece of shell that could be useful in making more of these, for example.
So you give them the crab claws, and the spikes and such, and some of them seem to be impressed by this, particularly the older ones who understand that defeating one of these crab creatures is not exactly an easy feat. It takes someone with strength and bravery and some combat skill. The younger ones, they do a little muttering of a kind of disappointment, but they're shushed down pretty quick as the older ones explain to them the significance of obtaining these crab claws.
None of them look muscly and
Crab would snap
warlike.
you in half in one snip, like that. And that's what I'm going to do to you if you don't stop your whining.
I also, can't really give him a goblin-sized. I have a goblin-sized mail coat that I found in one of those urns, but it's sized for a goblin, obviously, and they're not goblins, so that wouldn't really be.
They are quite not goblins.
Yeah, okay.
They are about as big as you can get without breaking into large size.
Right. I mean, yeah, everything else I have is either stuff I'm gonna sell for money that they wouldn't really be able to use, like a battle axe, or it's
Here,
just
kids,
junk.
a battle axe.
Exactly. I don't want to give them junk. I think the crab claws are the best I'm going to do for now. Yeah.
Fine and well. So, Wiseman Candela is content to meet with you, and they share some food and drink with you.
I think he would be mad at me if I gave his children a battle axe.
Yeah. So they have, a nice mushroom type meal with some smoked eel as well, and they share that with you along with some of their drink, some juices that they have prepared. They get all this put together at your coming. So, did you have a specific Grove Sheen request right now, or was it you just wanted to
because I know Walykos,
so you can do a later request?
Well, I know that Walykos makes use of it with his.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to assume that Aygir would think it has something to do with like arthritis or bone spurs or something like that, other than what it maybe actually is, though he doesn't know. So yeah, I'm gonna try and get some now. I'm going to try and get some now, and obviously leave the pipeline open for getting more later, because it seems like something where, he can help out Walykos by regularly getting it, and also kind of spindle to people who also have been like nicer to him than the majority of Barnacle.
Very well. The gift of gold pieces that you provided to us previously has served us greatly in our comings and goings from Barnacle. It would seem the taxations are never ending in their increases. So that has been an aid and has eased the burden on some of our needier families. If you are interested in bringing a small satchel of Grove Sheen, procuring a small satchel of Grove Sheen, I will only ask of you 10 gold pieces this time. And he thus furnishes a respectable discount to you as a sign of appreciation. So we'll say that has, like 10 actual draws off of it, or 10 smoking doses. Yeah.
All right.
10 fills of your pipe. Maybe we could say that.
Sure.
And
then
like just wanting to really roast it up and get totally baked.
Right.
You could burn through it pretty quickly doing it that way.
Right. If you just threw it onto a bonfire. Yeah. All right. So then in addition to this, I do have some things that I would like to just sell. Am I able to do that during this downtime without going too much into it being a whole scene? Because I don't know that it has to be.
It could be a quick thing if you are of a mind to do some just basic trading. So
yeah,
it sounds like that was that with the Fearboard Village, and you've returned back to Barnacle.
Yeah, I just kind of want to turn some things into more liquid assets, because I have 135 gold worth of alchemical reagents. I have a 50 gold piece valued component pouch. I have 225 each bone statuettes of goblin guardians, and I don't even know how much goblin-sized mail and a battle axe would sell for.
Okay, so I imagine Aygir would want to keep the alchemical components in the spell component pouch. Those are like magical components that you or Vapor would be using those in your crafting.
I mean, I don't personally use for any of my class features anyway. But yeah, it's true. I could actually, I'll probably, I don't know, does Vapor need a component pouch? My equivalent thereof is my casting focus, which is either a tool set or a weapon.
Yeah, but when it comes
I could use the
to
alchemical
crafting
pouch,
magical
definitely.
things of all varieties, I mean, you need magical components. It's it's more than just steal, bang it out, and cast some spell and wave your hands over. You need some actual physical magical base materials. So I would imagine Aygir wanting to keep that.
Okay. Well, then I have some little bone statuettes, and I have some goblin armaments that are presumably better use to me as money.
Okay, so you are offered a it was the one battle axe?
Yeah, one battle axe, one like male garment, whatever the thing that's equivalent to male armor for a human but goblin sized, and 2 little bone statuettes of goblins.
Smells of rotten fish and goblin piss.
I don't know about that.
The
Pretty
steel,
old.
I'll give you 10 gold pieces for these 2.
They're not much use to me. That sounds like a deal.
All right. You relinquish the battle axe and the mail, and the bone statuettes. Did I give you a value?
Yes, those were valued at 25.
Okay, so what you
Each.
trade them to a collector, let's say, for 50 gold pieces.
All right.
These will go nicely in my collection.
Back at the Veiled Roost, that is now officially the name of your tower, Adriel and Walykos are returning home. Specifically, it is Adriel's family's home, and Walykos is a close friend who is staying there for the time being. Did you have a thing you wanted to do there, or is it just we just want to rest?
I mean, barring any like adventurous, like sneaky things that we could do off on our own, no, not really. Yeah, I was just thinking rest. We're going to meet up with Connor Spindle later, I think, right?
Yes.
So, I mean,
Would my would the home have possibly a short sword that I could just like take?
Sure, yeah. If you are needing a short sword, I don't see that being any item that would be difficult for you to acquire. Let me just do a quick little roll thing. That's always fun to do that.
I need a second short sword.
Okay, so the old guardsman Ginteljar, who actually is your father, biologically speaking, there's some strange social things that probably has made him a little more distant than usual, but than a typical father, right? But he still is rather fond of you, and he says, "Lay, I could get you a sword like that. If you're not in a rush, I might be able to have it here soon. Just so it might ease my old mind a bit. You're not getting into too much of that skullduggery, are ye?"
Skullduggery.
Well, I know you've always been fond of scraps. You're a fighter. But just be careful where you go poking this sword. Some things, they poke back, and they poke back hard.
No, trust me, I discovered that in our last little escapade. But don't worry, Father. I'm sure I'll be just fine. You know me. I'm hard to hit, and I get the job done when I have one. But yes, if you could get this sword perhaps before or by tomorrow, that would be quite useful. I'm in need of a second blade.
I'll just go check with Rick down the street. I think he has a lot of some armaments that he's looking to sell, so I might be able to get one.
Yes, that'd be very useful, Father. I appreciate it.
I'll see what I can do. So I'll be back soon.
Thank you.
And he goes to check on that, and indeed he's able to work out a deal, and he comes back in under an hour and provides you a standard issue run of the mill short sword.
Nice. Thank you. Yeah, but I'll thank you, Father. I appreciate that.
He had 3 of them. That was the best condition I could see. One
Yeah,
had a bit of a warp to it, and another had a chip out of it.
Mhm.
Looks like that one's been taken well enough care for.
Yeah, I'll kind of hold it up to the light, like spin it around, test the balance of it. Do a few little swings.
It'll do.
Yeah.
It'll do.
Yeah.
It doesn't knock your socks off, but
Yeah, I'll sort of tap the blade a little bit with my finger, like look at it and say, might be in need of a bit of sharpening, but I think I can manage that part. Thank you, Father.
Yes, you need a whetstone, bit of oil and a rag.
That'd be quite useful, actually. Yes.
yeah. So he goes, and he's the guardsman of the tower, so he's got these sorts of supplies and implements, and he brings those to you, and continues to not pester you, but just here and there you can see a concerned look in his eye, and he so you're gonna tell me where it is that you're heading off to?
I give him like a bit of a smile, like, "No, Father, no, I don't think I will." It doesn't concern you, unfortunately.
Damn.
And when your mother goes harping at me, what am I to tell her?
Tell her that. Actually, before I answer this, out of game, how long do we think we're going to be away for? Like, do we have a general idea?
You don't
Or
know.
we don't know. Yeah,
It is going to be a bit of a longer trek.
yeah. How
Assuming
far
we
away?
should-
It's probably
Yeah.
it's probably the longest trek you ever have made personally.
Yeah, how far away is the place again?
Well, first we gotta get to the flotilla.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
So to just real quickly show the planned trajectory is you plan to go down the road here to the tether, get across the strait, and then come to Sandbeer, where some ships from the flotilla are currently there. Find a halfling who is audacious enough to take you all to Blackrock Isle.
Yeah, so we're gonna be gone for a while. Okay. Just a quick question as well. Sorry, I know that we're in the middle of a conversation, so to get things right. Is Adriel like actually like the lord of this keep, or is he not? Like for example, like does he
Your
outrank
mother-
his
your
mother?
mother is,
My mother does. Okay.
the tower. Yeah,
Okay,
Your mother is Florina Mantavale. She's the youngest daughter of Lord Duncan Mantavale. He's the Lord of the Storm Tower and Master of Rituals in Barnacle.
Gotcha. Okay, I just wanted to check. All right. So when he asks me, what am I to do when your mother harps on me? I'll say, well, just try and stay out of her way. And that's another one of the reasons why I'm not telling you exactly where I'm going, because my mother and how she likes to eavesdrop and learn about things that do not concern her. I'll be back as soon as possible. It may be a week, it may be more, but I shall return. I'll have Walykos with me as well, so I'm sure we'll be fine.
Walykos, look after him, will you?
I'll do my best, but I cannot perform a miracle. I will keep him alive, if nothing else.
Well, that doesn't give me much comfort.
His mind is certainly eased, not in the least.
I'll put a hand on his shoulder.
I don't
and,
know what I'm more worried about. You going off on some misbegotten adventure, or your mother badgering me day and night.
Ginteljar, there comes a time in every man's life when he has to leave the house that he was raised in, where he has to set his foot upon the road and seek what fortune he may. I believe that time has come for young Adriel. And when he comes back, whether it be a month from now, a year from now, he will be a much changed man, but for the better.
Well said, well said. Aye, that is the hope. You'll be amongst comrades, allies.
Yeah, I'll sort of nod my
It's
head
not
and
good to be alone, Adriel. It is good to be
I just look at Ginteljar like tilt head.
yeah, I'll sort of nod my head. And Adriel like put his hand on his father's shoulder. And Adriel's not very good at like consoling people. Like this is not his thing, but he'll give it a go. It probably will come off very awkward. And he'll sort of be like, Don't worry, father. I always come back, don't I?
You have so far. You have so far.
We'll bring you a drink from way off, from one of the faraway cities.
See if you can find something. It's almost damned impossible at times to find drink. We go through a number of dry spells when
And his mother, I'm sure
guardians
that
haven't brought in anything good.
I'm sure that Adriel will remember a gift for his mother while he is out gallivanting.
I was actually
around.
about to give you a piece of advice and hoping you would lend an ear to this. And on this very topic, on your travels, you should always procure spirits and strong drink when you can find them, rare though they may be in these damnable elven favors of smoking rather than drinking. Yes? I understand that you might not be imbibing it, but if you ever visit any harlots along the road after your sessions with them, you can use the spirits to rinse yourself and evade certain problems that can occur in the most inconvenient of places.
Adriel, you had no idea of this, I'm sure. What great advice from your father that he has given you.
Yes, father. I'll keep that in mind if I happen to come across any winches.
It stings a bit, I won't lie to you, but the other sting is much worse.
Yes, I'm sure. And like Adriel will like have this face of like a little bit of disgust, thinking back to that woman that wanted to be with him earlier from the not the Crossroaders, and he'll just sort of shake his head and go, I think I'll stay away from the women at least for now.
He says, well, it's easier to say now, but the road gets long and lonely and cold.
Yes, indeed. I'm sure Walykos, though, you seem to have a pretty good time last with the strange woman we met before. Perhaps perhaps this advice would be more suited for you.
I'm not sure what you're referring to. I can't recall which one of our adventures this was, Adriel. Perhaps you could, say more detail. I'm sure it would be helpful.
I'll think about it. I'll say, perhaps another time.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Well, just remember what I said, okay? It hurts a bit, but a bit of firewater on the rod is better than firewater coming out of the rod.
It's true, yep. So Adriel at this point will sort of he's gonna start like just getting oh yeah.
Ginteljar, is there actually this is a question to Esper, it wouldn't be to Ginteljar. Esper, is there in Mantevale like a house wizard or anyone that's like an arcanist?
Duncan Mantevale himself, Lord of the Storm Tower, is known to have abilities with certain magics. He's an elderly elf, 88 years in age. But you've heard tales that he can conjure lightning out of his hands, and he can fly like a storm crow.
Okay. Probably don't want to go to the head of the household to ask, about some trivial thing. So, okay, I'm good.
I mean, maybe there's like a gothic adolescent girl who says she's a witch in one of the other adjacent towers.
Nah, I need someone that's an actual magic user. But if that's like the options between the highest and like this nobody, I'm good. I'll just
Hey,
I'll
you
wait.
never know. She could be a prodigy.
She could be, but I've never heard of her, so probably not.
So
Saw her
Adriel,
once at a family gathering. She was the one who refuses to sit with everybody else and like doesn't eat whatever main food everyone else is eating.
so Adriel actually would if there's do we know what time it is right now? Like it shouldn't be too late, right?
Sunset is coming soon.
Would I have time to quickly run into the town and just sell a few items?
Yeah, we'll just do the same thing that Aygir did.
Yeah, that's kind of what my plan is. I kind of just wanted to head in and because I have that green gemstone and the goblin bone statue, so I kind of want to. Oh, and a silver bowl. Yeah, what silver bowl Dwarven made.
Getting some coin for the road.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I want to just like get myself a little bit prepared.
Oh, let's take a look at these too. A friend of yours just brought in some peculiarities.
Yep,
It's
pull out.
another one of those same goblin bone statuettes, the carbon things.
Yeah, so the 25 gold piece goblin bone statue, the 10 gold piece green gemstone, and then the 100 gold piece silver bowl.
All right, so he can certainly purchase.
See if he wants a brick.
He can certainly purchase all of those. The gemstone, you don't have to sell it because it is actual, kind of currency in and of itself.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah,
I'll keep.
Be sort of like trading a platinum piece for 10 gold. So.
Oh, I see. I'll still sell it just so I can keep things consolidated in gold pieces.
Very well.
All right. So he'll take all of them.
Oh, and my cachet grows. Magnificence.
Thank you. I appreciate the gold. Enjoy the items. And I'm trying to think if I need anything else in particular to buy. I don't think so. Oh, actually, yeah. I actually do think I need something.
Yeah. So I didn't quite realize how far over land we're going to be traveling. Do we need rations and things?
Yes. Well, I think that we can probably get that from our house. I would presume.
Do we have mounts? Are we going on foot? Like, is there road straight from here, Barnacle?
There is road. Mounts would make things faster, or hiring out some kind of
vehicle,
wagon or carriage.
Yeah.
So I will ask though. You wouldn't happen to have some kind of disguise kits, would you?
Were you asking the curio collector?
Yeah, I'll ask him, see if he happens to have anything like that.
I have a goblin mask. It was worn by one of their sea shamans. No one would recognize you wearing that. They might think you're a goblin.
Not exactly what I had in mind, but I appreciate the gesture. I'm going to look around a bit, but thank you again for the gold, and I'll try.
You should go look at the Actors Guild.
Yep, I'll nod and I'll head over there then. Actually, that's a good idea.
All right, so you make your way to the theater, and the Actors Guild can properly sell you. You might call it a disguise kit. To them, it's just costumes and makeup.
Yeah. How much would it cost?
Do you have a player's handbook?
I do.
You have it in your hand, the handbook?
Is it
it's 25 gold pieces.
25 gold pieces? Okay. Yep, I'll buy that.
High quality, rare makeups, costumes, and even prosthetics,
Yep. And then, I will go up to Walykos as well and say,
we make this nose look exactly like your own. Just a little bit of powder on it to lighten up the complexion.
Indeed, I'm sure. Walykos, Do you think
Yes.
that we may need some kind of steed, some kind of mount for this trip?
Well, if we get a steed, we'll have to provision it.
Yeah, you might
But,
just hire something out, and
yeah.
just based on your kind of wealth ranks that you all have, you
Okay.
wouldn't actually have to be
Spend
Okay.
money.
We can just get one.
We get it from the Manteville.
like the standard of what you can afford. It will just be, a wagon pulled by freaking, what are those things called? Xenas.
Hmm.
And question: how many days travel do we think from? Like everyone kind of knows how long it takes to get between major cities. How long do we think it'll take?
1, 2,
A
3.
week.
It'll be about 3 days to the tether, and
Okay.
then 2 days to Sandbeer. So,
Okay. Which was all factored into the calculations of
yeah,
the guy who told us when to leave.
yeah,
So-
yeah, core gain. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if all goes smoothly and without hitches, you'll be in Sandbeer in 5 days,
5 days.
and it'll be like, okay, let's see if we can find a
halfling.
halfling boatman quickly and get ourselves to Blackrock. The travel from Sandbeer to Blackrock that might be another 5 days or 4 days, something like that.
If only we knew ship travel rules really well from previous games. Yeah.
Well, I do think it's apropos that you live in the Storm Tower.
Indeed. Well, that being said, I think let's get our wagon and stuff, and let's get everything together and just leave in the morning. Once we've talked to Canis, I think Canis is the last scene we should actually do.
Well, you don't need to worry about it at all. There's always wagons going back and forth between here and the tether. So just show up here and they start running pretty much at daybreak.
Perfect. We'll be back then.
Oh, okay. We'll see you then.
Did Vapor want to do anything special, or is he good before we head to Canis?
Vapor is rehydrating and resting.
Very good.
Though maybe something.
Your mic isn't.
Yeah, he's just rehydrating or resting. The next day, I guess we're meeting Canis then? Or are we meeting Canis?
I was thinking meet Canis tonight. Let's, not push our timetable. And who knows, maybe Canis will have something to tell us. Because we'll tell him kind of where... I don't know that we actually told him where we were going.
Nope, not yet.
Yeah. So,
Okay. So after you've all had dinner and the sun has gone down, you make your way to the broken tower and knock upon its large brass knocker, this ugly, grotesque thing sticking out of the front door, and the slot is open, and you hear someone getting up onto a stepping stool, and you see the half-masked face of Stag, the dwarven butler.
open up. We have come to see Canis Spindle.
It is you lot back again. Well, it seems the master is fond of you. I can let you in one moment.
You hear a series of locks being unlocked. Hauls open the giant, like half of like the giant double door thing at the front.
Come in, come in. Yes, seems you're all alive still. I've heard from the master that you're fond of delves into dark and dangerous places. Dungeons, we might call them. Yes,
Indeed.
I am familiar with dungeons. I worked a dungeon for a better part of my life.
You must have done something, right? You've ended up here.
Grisly work it is. Awful. I can't say I recommend it for anyone.
Well,
But you're still young and youthful, handsome things, invincible, indestructible.
the dungeons I think we're talking about are two different types of dungeons.
No. Oh, there's more than just two different type of dungeon. There's torture. There is The steam works. There are the gear rooms. Sometimes that serves as torture as well. Execution, too. I saw men get ground alive in massive gear machinery. Whew. Still makes me shudder and cringe.
Yes, well, the dungeons that we speak of are places long forgotten.
No. So
Yes.
you're one of those historical, what do they call a treasure hunter? No wonder the master's so keen on you lot. Oh, look at me, rambling away. Come.
So he, leads you up the stairs, up to the lift. The dumbwaiter thing gets you up. You hear the fluttering of wings as you enter into the shadowed and misted great hall of the above section of the broken tower, and through the smoky mistiness and the gloom and the overall hum of various machines working at whatever tasks. You hear the flittering of wings, and here he comes, Mercy, the president of Mercy perches up on top of some large Gothic cabinet. His eyes bug out one at a time, and and flutters back to his master. Come now! The voice of Conaspindle echoes across the great hall. I am in the workshop. You may enter.
Very good. I assume we're all going together, yes? Okay.
You walk through the great hall and into the adjoining workshop as you'd seen before, and there he is, the tall, gaunt, leg-braced Conaspindle, amidst the organized chaos that is his workspace, just absolutely piled up with baubles and bits and fasteners and spare parts. And he takes off these, large, eye-protecting things, straps them back. No, I was hoping that you all would come soon. I've been eager for the news of your exploit. Did you have success?
We had some success, yes. We have explored a little bit more of the dungeon since you gave us that scroll, and we found some items that we may be able to trade to pay back the scroll.
No, good and glad and success you have had. Did the Dispel Magic Scroll need to be employed?
It did.
And
the wall of fire, it took down one of the walls of fire.
It was very effective, yes.
I knew it. That old magic still thrums mighty potently through these old pages.
Yes. Indeed, we were able to discover a little treasure chamber beyond where we found a couple valuable things. But before we get to that and we compensate you for the use of your spell scroll, I need to ask, have you made any progress on the painting?
Yes, I have indeed. I have been studying it with what time that I can dedicate to it. And it is a curious thing. It is a dangerous thing as well. For portals are often more than mere doorways. They are not always one way either. Before anyone goes tampering with this thing, we should make absolutely certain that upon opening up this rift, that we're not letting anything through.
I have a question, and this is just a clarification on what you've told us about it. This item itself just acts as the the key, if you will, to open the door and then take us through? Or does it connect with some other gates out there?
I have an idea about this. I'm quite certain that one actually enters through the painting.
Yes.
I know it seems incredible and unbelievable, but maybe you all would be some people that would believe in such impossibilities. Look at this. Look what I have managed. And he rolls the thing out on a small cleared off space on his workbench, and he holds his hand in a certain gesture, and he utters a couple arcane words they sound like giant syllables in giant, yes. And the image, which is, as though a bird's eye view looking down over Barnacle, it shifts. It seems to descend to some degree, angles itself slightly differently, and he speaks the word again, adds a different syllable, or exchanges the final syllable, counterposes. What's the word I'm looking for here? Well, does the opposite thing with his hands, and it shifts back to how it was originally. I can't. That's all I've managed. I cannot get it to move further in any which direction. Only to this spot here, and then back.
Well, it's beginning. You cannot reach an end without one.
It is a step. I suspect that this painting would allow us to see various parts of Haven Isle, maybe even beyond. I'm not entirely certain the extent of how far it can go. I'm aware of arcane eyes and clairvoyances, which can see for miles upon miles, given the wizardly proficiency. But yes, I do believe once it has been activated, there will be a noticeable, visible effect, and one merely steps through the painting, and you will be there. Now, obviously appearing in the air is a great hazard.
Why don't we test this right now? You have your homunculus. He can fly into the sky to where this portal presumably is and step through it and see if he can come through back into the lab, from the other way.
Yes, but you need to listen, Walykos. I am not certain that this gate is not two-way. What might be lurking in these misted bluffs on the other side?
Misted bluffs. I mean, I thought they only opened to the sky where we're seeing on it. You're saying that it's opening to somewhere else entirely?
Imagine you were an insidious sort from a different plane of existence.
Okay.
And you would like to worm your way into the material plane. Normally the forces that be, divine hand and primal spirit, bar you from such crossings without great sacrifice. But lo, you could trick some eager mage who drools over finding a relic such as this to activate an experiment with it. And lo, he slips through and you slip through the other way.
Do you have more to that, or is it just a guess based on a feeling or a paranoia that you have of these sort of things?
It is prudence. I am older and wiser than you, Walykos, and I do not need to rush a matter such as this.
Well, I don't mean to rush a matter either, but if this indeed has magic that can be useful, can we not employ it? There has to be a way to use it, without having demons spilling out, every time you step through.
Have you ever seen a demon, Walykos? I think not. Otherwise, you would have a bit more trepidation as to activating this strange relic.
Well, if this relic indeed does what you say, then there's a lot that you don't understand yet about it. I don't think we should jump to any conclusions.
We should not. Such
Well,
a
you
jump
know-
might be a stumble, a terrible, awful stumble, and we have just finally gotten ourselves rid of those damnable Balai.
Mhm.
I don't want to be responsible for bringing anything else into this world. Anything else abominable.
Well, how much progress are you going to make on it? Because
It sounds as though you're needing it back with some urgency, Walykos.
we're going to be traveling on the morrow.
And you want this to be a sort of safety net if you need to make a sudden escape.
Well, if we could study it ourselves and find a way to, control it, whether or not we need to use it, I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
I cannot in good conscience simply hand this back over to you for you to use, even in a moment of dire strait.
Are you trying to keep that which is not yours?
You can't in good conscience.
Personally, I don't care about your
If you are
conscience.
going to hold a blade to my throat, I will give it back to you. I'm not here to rob you, but I have seen many a thing come and go, and the downfall of overambitious souls is one pattern I've unfortunately had to watch repeat time and again.
If we all think logically for a moment, Walykos, Adriel, do you really think we are going to come up with a better answer about how to control this thing than Connors here? I mean, we are not exactly, studied experts on this topic.
That depends, Aygir, on if we trust him to tell us how to use it if he cannot discover a way to do so.
Research takes time and cannot be rushed.
Cautious and modest in my experimentations with it.
There
If
are,
one was to be wilder and riskier, I suppose you would have made leaps more progress than I have so far. But where would the leap take you, and at what price?
that would be a question for some other wizard in the world, perhaps, to make. I would like to take it with us.
I am aware of many works of artifice and am quite proficient, but this is not my form of magic.
It's not your specialty. I would say take it with us, but perhaps we'll find someone else on our travels. Serendipitous encounter, perhaps, that might, allow us to find out more about this and how it
He
works.
who walks his true path will often come across mentors, guides, and allies.
Indeed. If you could put it back in the box that is protected by the password Kelp Club in Giant, we'll take it back with us.
And by we, he means me, since I believe that cautious research is the best way to discover the true secrets of this thing. And if I'm to hold on to it, then I'm to ensure that no one is to use it rashly and without first carefully considering whether or not it is in fact the last option.
You can carry it. Yes.
How about this?
I just don't want this to jump
like
over here, getting his hands on it.
Persuasion check, and if Aygir is so inclined, you could attempt to aid it.
Okay.
Wait, what's the question? What do you need?
I would like Walykos to make a persuasion check, which is key to what you just said to Connors. And then Aygir gave his bit there, which I would take that as an attempt.
A 24.
He does not get advantage on that, but it just sounds like he doesn't need it.
Yeah, I didn't really care for what you were trying to aid me. I was just...
All right, so Aygir starts, he says that bit, and I think Walykos is like, that's not my opinion. So you say your piece, and you tell Connors Spindle in polite yet assertive tones to hand the scroll, the painting, back to you.
and we will put it in a safekeeping in the box that we found it in until we have someone else with us where we're going, potentially take a closer look at it. For leaving it here for half a year or a year will do us no good. But having it with us, we may be able to find out more about it.
So be it. And he walks out of the workshop, leaving it right there on the desk.
Cool. All right, I roll it up.
He makes his way back to the Great Hall, sits in his massive high-backed chair, and grabs his most familiar implement, one of the hoses of his great smoking device.
Now then, if we're going to settle this deal, Walykos, Connus, why don't you join me in a little of this? And he will produce the bag.
Not tonight. We have a long travel ahead of us. I think, especially considering the way that ended, Walykos is keen to, well, first off, is Percy going to his master, or is he watching Mercy? Whatever
Homunculus. Yeah. Sure, he's nearby.
Well, is he going to his master, or is he watching us?
He is not like perched on Connus, but he's nearby, just
so he's
calmly watching everything.
While I'm in here, and while that scene just kind of happened, I just want to look around the workshop while collecting the thing. And I'm not like obviously doing anything yet. I'm just looking to see if I see anything that might
it's
be
a lot to take in, as there is a massive array of clutter and stacks of various parts and baubles and ingredients and writings and scribbles and pages and books, and it's really it's controlled chaos is the only way I can describe it, and that's very light on the control end of that part.
That's fine.
Just walk through this one little single file pathway to even make your way through the workshop.
That's fine. What sort of check or what would be to try and discern something of value or something useful here?
What sort of check do you think you would make in this case?
Maybe an Arcana or some sort of investigation check, both of which I'm not proficient in or good at, but it makes sense.
Let's do a Arcana.
Yep. 13.
It looks like a bunch of these are kind of spare parts of no great value, esoteric things or even engineer type things.
Mhm.
But surely some of these bits and baubles have some higher value to it than just the spare parts.
Is there something that looks valuable monetarily, just since I can't judge based on arcane, but something small, monetary value that could be sleight of handed as I leave the workshop? Because I'm
something that
rolling
looks
this up.
Like it looks like a broken hourglass, roughly speaking, in the sense that it has these two glass orb or container things and connected, but it's broken. The top one, the top bulb is like has a piece missing out of it. The bottom one is plugged up. He has some kind of gum or resin or something plugging it, and the sand is a very shiny red sand. It almost looks like blood. And there's this like ornate brass frame to it, and it looks like he's something that he's been repairing but has continually getting bumped down
off to the side. I would like to sleight of hand, just cloak as I'm reaching for this. Cloak goes over it, cloak removes, and the thing is gone.
All right, make a sleight of hand check.
Absolutely. This I am an expert in. And that's going to be a 22.
You have swiped it as the homunculus is none the wiser and not particularly scrutinizing you.
Yep.
So you have that. So let's do.
Am I potentially able to see that?
Potentially.
What's your
but-
passive perception? I doubt.
Yeah, you're not like you're probably not looking.
Yeah.
Expecting that.
Yeah, no. My passive perception is 12, so no.
Yeah.
For something like this, I think passive works fine because it's not a like action, danger, exploration moment.
Yeah, I'm not saying, oh, what's this over here 5 feet away? Reach out.
You're not doing the clearly conspicuous whistle.
Just like taking books off his shelves in a stack on my hand, you know. Okay. Yeah. I pocket that into a, secret, place on my body. And we'll investigate that later because that does sound interesting. Sounds like a curio or something that might be more than what it seems.
That sand, man, it sure looks like blood.
Yeah, sure does.
Very, very, very fine sand, shiny.
Man, I feel like I've just been talking this whole time. Is anyone else like?
While you're busy
I think
stealing,
there's a bit of like tension or discomfort betwixt some of the party members in Canis.
Vapor doesn't really have anything to add to the conversation, so that's why I was silent on that. I am listening, and I'm just trying to think. It's like how would Vapor act on this? And it's like he doesn't have anything to say on it. The magic, while interesting, he would need to study on his own to understand it.
Yeah.
And like meditate and try to channel it for himself. So there's nothing he can add there. Then the disagreement.
You don't feel particularly concerned about it. You're kind of neutral in your.
Yeah, he's mostly neutral on it. And it's like, oh, there might be some danger with it. And it's like, well, there's always danger with any magic, so that doesn't matter to him. And he's also pretty much a walking time bomb himself because his magic is so uncontrollable at times. So it's like Vapor's very neutral in this conversation.
The person who should be activating it.
Yeah. So Vapor's literally at least this conversation is very neutral. So I had nothing to say. So that's the reason I was mostly silent for that. But probably once we get going, I'll have some role-playing stuff we could be doing.
Okay. Yeah, I say, well, if there's nothing else, we're going to be getting an early start tomorrow. And we should leave Canis to his Grove Sheen.
Yeah, Aygir was probably casually talking with Canis this whole time after, and it might be a little unsettled with the way that Walykos was acting, just because he seemed like, I don't know, he was being a little pushy there, which is unusual considering. But he figures that'll be revealed later on, and also, in and out of character is ready to start getting on our way to Blackrock Isle.
All right, so you chat a bit with Canis as things are wrapping up, and he seems to be ever more lost in his thought as he continues to smoke. And by the end, he's just, what? Yes. Do look after those two. Be cautious. Yes. Be safe. Mists of the past. And he zones out. And you all are going to rest up as much as you can. And in the morning, pack up your rations and your water skins and get onto the carriage. Yes?
And Vapor's case, extra water skins.
Your voice isn't coming through.
In Vapor's case, he'll be packing extra water skins.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, thankfully, we'll be on the open road, so it's not going to be too hot, hopefully.
All right. So anything other than rations and water skins that you want to provision yourselves with before this journey begins?
Perhaps a little bit of Zagape, but other than that,
Okay.
That and what's on sheets already.
Okay. Very good. So returning the map back up here. How does that look? Is that
Can you guys hear me now?
yes?
Oh my goodness, my audio mixer unplugged for some reason.
Okay. Was there anything in particular, supplies or provisions that you wanted to procure before beginning the travel?
Yes, I wanted to stab Canis. No, I'm just kidding.
I was surprised you were so quiet. I was like, Adriel's being like very.
Yeah, no, I
I
was
mean-
the main thing I was gonna say
Maybe
was like,
Walykos was like constantly like giving him to like side poke to shut up or
Yeah.
stop.
the main thing I wanted to say was like, I think I said the one thing I wanted to say with
Yeah,
maybe
you're
I didn't
gonna
wear.
keep it from us. Yeah.
Yeah, like basically Adriel was just like, hey, like I get that like you think that you have this conscience that you say, but like this is like our item. You're gonna give it back to us, like
Like if we want to blow up our own lives, and cause a demon rift, well, we'll do that.
Yeah,
It's our
it's like that.
It's our
It's like
mistake
that's
to
our,
make.
it's like yeah, that's our prerogative. Like you don't get to just keep this because you want to keep us safe. Like get out of here.
Not that it's necessarily going to do that. So he's just.
But open a demon rift.
Yeah, I think that there's a possibility that could happen, but I don't think it's just every time you use it that happens. So,
Every
Guys,
time the item is used,
there's
demon
no
rift.
way this is opening a demon rift. No, this map can't open a demon rift. It's not going to open demon rift, guys. It's not going to open a demon rift. This episode, Mac opens a demon rift.
I was thinking someone was like, yeah, there's no possible way. Watch, look, Cass. Cat does it, and then turns out, see, look, nothing's happening. His face is melting as he's speaking from the demonic heat that washed over him from the rift.
hey, if I really needed that skin, anyways, let's
The
yeah.
following morning, you pack up your rations, your water skins, your travel packs, your gear, right? And you meet at this wagon station, and there's a number of wagon drivers and carriage coachmen, and they are of some nicer ones and some not so nice ones. If you don't want to actually spend GP off your character sheet, you'll go with the lower end ones, and there'll be just other common folk with you going on a journey across the sub island here. So it sounds like that's fine and well for you all. The first day of travel, you leave the city of Barnacle. There's a little official exchange between the wagon driver and the gatekeepers, and he produces a manifest of sorts that they look at, they stamp it, and they just kind of give a once-over glance at everyone and on your way, and the wagon goes. And you've got, like I said, some other common folk with you. It's a pretty cramped wagon ride, like you're kind of shoulder to shoulder until people drop off eventually at some different locations. So you start to pass through the limits of the hill, the what we call these kind of scrubby wooded hills that you had trekked through for some time. And by the end of the day, you arrive at your first stopping point, which is the Hoof Tower. It is properly a tower, as in it's a soldier's outpost. There's a couple of small shops there. There's a Gumpsicle Outfitter, like a sort of trade post, general equipment and supplies dealer. Otherwise, it's largely a soldier outpost. So is there anything of interest or anything anyone wants to do at this location? Nope. Okay. So you rest there. It's, not particularly comfortable, and you don't even have access to a lot of the tower, not being actual soldiers. And that's fine. And the next day, you are on the road again, and they take the low road and kind of skirt between this hilly region and the what is this? This is the Spurlands up here, and these rock formations. Some of them are even just absolutely colossal in size, which are called the spurs. And it's really a wonderful sight. And of course, you saw it. Those of you who traveled to Barnacle, you saw it on your arrival. And that's just always off to your right-hand side. And you can actually just spend hours marveling at these natural rock wonders. Some of them you can just see for miles and miles and miles in the distance. And a warm day. By the end of this day, you arrive at Spurholm. This is an inn, so you get an actual place to sleep that's a little bit better quality. Let's see, Spurholm. It's an inn built into a spur. If you don't want to spend anything, you can just stay in the commons room. Just unroll your bedroll. There's a little floor hearth. Just stay there. It gets kind of cool overnight, so you'll stay warm. If you want to pay something, you can get a nicer private room with some furnishings and smokes and some attendants and the pampering and whatnot.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what are the finest comestibles, potables, and smokables in this particular locale?
Yeah, so they certainly have a selection of fine things to eat if one is renting out. The 4 gold piece per night, or per day, we should say, stay. You'll have plenty of fine things to eat and some fine smokes as well. You'll have your own nice private room with some nice furnishings, perfumes, flowers, a nice sturdy locking door. There is servants that will attend to your needs, and very nice, comfortable bed.
All of that only comes at the price of 4 a day. There's no that if you stay in the common room, you have to eat whatever is left over or not provided.
I mean, they'll give you like bread and water and some boiled vegetables, and
all right, I will pay
eat wherever you
for
can. Hopefully, you can snuggle up close to the hearth.
Aygir will stay in style in that case.
Walykos,
Adriel will not.
Oh, Walykos was going to offer to split a room with Adriel. So.
Oh man, now you have me thinking, because like Adriel probably doesn't care actually. Well, Walykos,
I was gonna get a room. Yeah.
I
want people staring at me, especially if we're gonna be there for a while.
Yes,
night.
yes, yeah. I suppose. All right, I'll get to a room with you, Walykos.
All right.
Vapor the only one who has no problem crashing on the floor.
I mean, you can crash on the floor if you want, Adriel, but I've got a room. I assume 2 people can sleep in a room.
Yeah. Seems much better.
If you want access to the fine stay.
So it would be 2 gold pieces each from Walykos and myself.
So
for each, that will give you all the different things.
I don't need the pampering. What's the price for leave me the fuck alone and just give me a room?
Yeah. I don't need any of that either. I just having just a room would be nice.
The old elven innkeep, Doran Ivycress, winces back when you take that tone with him.
Yes.
Oh, all right, fine. 4 gold piece it is. I don't want any trouble.
All right, so that's 2 gold each. All right.
Sounds good.
Agreed.
That's just please just leave us alone. We don't need anything.
My kind of like weird shaped hand, with the 3-pronged like finger kind of thing going on, drops the 2 gold pieces on the counter and shuffles on, past.
Mind them not good, man. Send all the provendament for their room. Just send it my way. I'll make sure it disappears enjoyably.
The wagon driver, Daga, who, now that you've actually traveled on the road with him for a couple of days, you're realizing that he is actually half orc. He was watching the whole exchange, as he is an observant fellow, and he says to you, Aygir,
what's eating them?
Oh, garden variety woodworms. they're rife all through those rods they have stuck up their asses. Or I would assume, I don't know them that well, but they've always just been a little bit like that.
There's always someone a bit like that on a ride here or there. I've gotten used to it, but not all of them have, the trappings.
Well, they're with me, so it comes with the territory.
Vapor, I would assume, is kind of close by and hears he rods up their asses. And it's like, they definitely have more than just rods stuck up their asses.
Well,
Meanwhile,
over time, you are able to fit more up there, I suppose.
Now, are we going to stick here and talk about things going in Estes?
Are you a mercenary company?
Oh, so you're going to talk about more than things going into S's, because I was more keen to talk about things going into mouths. We're not the mercenary company, but I don't know why business that is of yours.
Well, you're on my wagon. Just general curiosity is all.
Well, there are only 4 of us. We don't look very much like a company now, do we?
Well, I don't rightly know. I guess I haven't studied up on such terms, but, well, sell swords, the lot of you.
I suppose you could say something like that, just for simplicity's sake, yes.
All right, well, don't bring any trouble to my wagon, all right? Got
Certainly
a family back in Barnacle.
You're a transport. You're not being dragged into this, not if I have anything to say about it.
Yeah, well, I got to deal with Sir Ivycrest here. Come through Spurholm on the regular. It's not a bridge that I want to be sullied.
Not a bad deal. Not a bad deal. This is a decent place. I'll certainly make sure my other 2 companions don't scare or annoy the man too much.
Appreciate it. All right, we'll be leaving shortly after daybreak tomorrow after breakfast.
They have breakfast here too. Well, I'd better get to smoking if I'm going to enjoy everything they have to provide.
Oh, lap it up all you can. This next bit's a dry spell.
So I know. From the first time I came through this way. Didn't have the privilege of staying here, though. That would have been nice.
So you all spend the night at Spurholm, and with the exception of Vapor, you have purchased some fine lodgings for protection, privacy, and your gastronomical enjoyment, and even what would we call the smoke, fumanautical enjoyment. Is there anything further anyone wants to do at Spurholm, or should we be on to continuing the travel?
I'm fine with continuing.
Okay. So Dogga didn't lie. He likes to keep things early and keep things moving along. So he's usually the first one to rise. Everyone eats breakfast, and he's already, he's got the Xenas fed and watered, and is getting everyone ready. You even hear him not shouting, but some of the people are sleeping in by the hearth. We're leaving here in just a moment. If you want to keep on heading down the road, better get your arses up. So a couple of people groan and like, I haven't had breakfast yet. Yeah. And he kind of whips everyone into shape. Everyone gets onto the wagon. And indeed, this final stretch is just a flat, arid, rocky bit. Whenever the wind blows, it's like blowing dust in your face. There's not really much anything pleasant to look at on this little stretch until late. Well, actually, the travel goes past sunset and it gets pretty dark. And they light some lanterns on the wagon, and they even have like an actual lantern bearer who's walking out in front of the Xenas just to keep an eye on things and, not run afoul of potholes or brigands or smacking into someone else traveling. Eventually, there are lights up ahead, up on a high bluff, and you have arrived at the Tether. This is I would say, a pretty noteworthy location in Haven Isle. It's an important location. It's even a historic location. So, as you know, about 150 years ago, elves, headed by House Drakestone, sieged Eyaberg, which was a fully giant-controlled island with their dwarven slaves. And through a protracted war and a number of sieges, the elves won through. After winning the siege of Eyaberg, they wanted to have a sort of connection between the little island and the big island. So, through the ingenuity of gnomish engineering, this project began for the Tether. It was headed by a gnome engineer, and even his great-grandson oversees the site today. There's 2 forts. There's this fort on the east, which is referred to as the Shield Fort, and there's the west fort referred to as the Hammer Fort. So they are fortresses, and some other adjoining buildings that are built into these rock spires up on the bluffs. And they have these cables. There's one going westward, there's one going eastward. And the cables stretch over this 2-mile gulf known as the Risakraba Strait. Risakraba Strait. I'll put it here in the comments. Okay. And there are these cable cars, or carts as they're called, that are mounted onto the cables, and they go back and forth. What runs this? On each side, on both sides, there is a huge fire giant zombie who is covered head to toe in like steel mechanical armor, and they are tirelessly and ceaselessly turning these massive gear cranks that are hooked into this whole gear complex, and they just crank nonstop, and the carts are just going back and forth both ways. I mean, obviously they'll pause to unload cargo or passengers. There are some people that do live here. There's some permanent people, not a lot, but there's a few hundred. Majority gnomes live here. There are some elves here and there. There are some, like I said, some various structures, some homes, even a few shops. There's a smithy known as Anki's Forge. And yeah. Do you all have anything of interest to do at the Tether, or do you just want to keep the moving along?
Well,
Adriel, we all want to do
Mine's a simple question. Since Vapor's gone through here before, because he's been to Barnacle and back several times, he would know if there's any, at least on both sides, I guess, Alchemist Shops.
There is not an alchemist shop, though you are certain that more than one of the gnomes here is an alchemist or is proficient with alchemy.
Okay, he's looking more specifically for a shop to buy some
There's
potion
magic involved. I mean, obviously these giant things they have something magical that mutated or necrofied them in the way that they are.
He's looking more for the ingredients. He's not looking for the finished product.
Okay, so let's say that you begin by looking around, right? So you go to see what you can find. Does anyone else go with you, or is it just Vapor?
Anyone can join me.
Where were you going again? Sorry.
Vapor's looking for alchemic
Start looking at the
ingredients.
shops and ask around.
No, I probably wouldn't follow you then.
Okay, so it sounds like it's just Vapor. We'll start at a prominent location that I mentioned, Anki's Forge. This is ran by a gnome named Anki Nanunk, and he's a younger gnome, actually. and he works a forge that uses the same tech, the same old tech that you found back in the Crumble and Barnacle. It's these Vulcan forges that literally the fire giants, through elemental power that they have some affinity with, make these elemental fire forge things, which are quite potent. And he's got it modified to work for him being a small sized person. And he's clinking and clanging away, but he's used to people coming in, asking questions, being curious, looking for things, and he seems pretty happy to entertain you. A younger gnome, about 22 years of age, spiky hair that is just constantly greased back, and stained hands, pulls his gloves off. Hello, welcome. Holds his hand out to shake yours.
He'll shake the hand, and of course, being this close to the forge, vapor is already starting to sweat, so his hand is a bit sweaty.
What can I help you with?
I'm looking for any shops that sell alchemic ingredients.
Ingredients.
Yes. I mix them to make potions of different sorts.
I see. Well, you might be able to procure some here, though it would be highly regulated if you want anything that is volatile. You know what I mean?
I'm not looking to make something blow up. I'm just looking for basic ingredients to dabble, experiment, and try different things with.
Okay. Could you be more specific? I do know someone who I believe might be able to help you. What was it you're looking for exactly?
Mostly healing herbs to make healing potions, if possible.
Okay. No, I don't think there'll be any problem with that at all. Why don't you just come with me, because it's rather close by. It's just down the street. If you don't mind, there you go. Oh, watch your step there. Right. And here. And he goes to, it's just a minute walk, and you go it's these narrow streets with these, buildings real hugged in tightly, stone buildings that are hewn out of the rock. And, you just go up some steps to a flight, across a little landing, up another steps, curve up, and he comes to a door of another structure, and he knocks on the door, gives it a rap, and a woman, a gnome, she answers. She is decidedly older than him. You'd put her maybe 50 or so years old. And he says, "Hello, Vax. This is a traveler who is interested in some healing herbs or other types of." You said you were looking to make a healing potion. Is that right?
Mostly ingredients for healing potions, and if possible, I may pick up a few other ingredients for
I thought you
just
might
a
be able to
mix.
share something that he was interested in procuring. Vax here, by the way, she is a rather accomplished healer.
Excellent.
Yes, sir. Please. You're welcome to come into the parlor. You don't have to stand outside.
Thank you.
Good to see you, Anki. Okay, I will catch you later. Yes. She brings you inside. Her dwelling has this parlor with some seating areas and some, shelves and cabinets and storage.
All gnome size, I believe.
Well, you're not banging your head on anything, but it's a little more cozy.
Vapor is crouching a bit, I'm betting.
It smells rather delightful in here. It smells like flowers, spices, and bread freshly baking. And she, has some ceramic vases and whatnot with flower arrangements in it. And she says, "Oh, if you would like, take a seat, and I can show you a selection of herbs that would suffice perfectly well for healing potions."
Well, I would, if possible, rather look at any herbs that you have available. I'm mostly just looking for healing herbs, but all would be welcome. I do like to
Very well.
do a bit of
know
mixture and
most of what
experimenting.
you'll see myself, not all of it, but the majority of it, and I try to take good care of things. Well, why don't you just stay here, and I'll bring out a couple of cases, and you can tell me what it is that would be helpful for you.
That works perfectly.
Very well, very well. I have the prices on everything, by the way, so you'll see it right on there. No need to worry about haggling or getting yourself in a fuss. And
Well, that definitely makes life a lot more easier than other places. I'll say that.
Jenny, come here, sweetie. I need your help. And you hear a girl, a young girl, like a kid, shout back to her, okay, and you hear like little feet come running through some hallway. And Vax comes, and she returns. Yes, I get a lot of people that come through here, and they're just these, how would I say, hot-headed, pushy hagglers, and a lot of mercantilists come through here. A lot of business comes through the tether, lots of cargo. And if I wanted to run that sort of shop, I'd have a bazaar there by the platform. I don't. This is just my house. Would you care for some tea?
I think I'll pass on the tea. No offense.
You look a bit. Maybe the road has left you a bit ill. Are you sure? I can get you something.
Let's say an experimental potion has made me a little unagreeable with certain things.
Is it something that has been ailing you for a time?
Not for overly long period of time, but it's been ailing me since I've taken it.
Well, that's no way to go on living like that. Surely I could fix you up some sort of admixture that would soothe whatever it is that's plaguing you.
Vapor pulls out a small knife and cuts his hand and just shows it the dwarf blood to heal itself back up.
The girl who is like helping her carry out a couple of these wooden cases, puts the case into her armpit so she can cover her eye up.
There are benefits from
like a little, 7-year-old gnome girl.
Yeah, there are benefits I don't want gone yet. I wish to study what it's done to me to figure out if I can replicate it without any of its drawbacks.
I see. Well, let's just talk about the herbs you came to purchase. I didn't mean to pry.
Not at all. I do love talking shop about making potions. I grew up in a shop like this out in the steppes.
Oh, well. In the steppe? You're from the Cloud Steppe, are you?
I am.
I've always wanted to venture there. I've always dreamt of sailing the steam curtain.
Well, if you ever do go there, my mother runs the greatest herb shop and healing shop you will ever find.
You're kidding me. What's her name?
I actually don't have a name for her.
Bertha sounds like a lovely woman.
There we go.
So she small talks to you a bit and gets quite interested, and then she opens up these like little ornate brass latch things on these wooden cases, opens them up, and has nice little organized bundles inside of all kinds of herb and flower and leaf, and they all are clearly marked with loopy, flowery, exquisite penmanship, both in the common Elvish, and then also you see another. It's in 2 languages. You don't know what the other one is, though. It's decidedly a completely different alphabet, different characters altogether. But everything's labeled twice in these 2 languages. And they've got the prices right on there, clearly marked. And you're just hit with this wafting bouquet of aromas.
And Vapor is just going to smell. Smells just as like home.
These all of them in this case here I've personally cultivated. Most of them in this case here, except for the I think it's these thorns over here. Yes, those I did not grow. They come from a special type of rose, which is found within the tangle. Fearbolgs. I traded them.
I've used a few of these, and they do all look to be in good, healthy order.
These
when you
variety
pick them.
caps over here as well are Fearbolg cultivars. These here was traded from merchants from Plethoris. This is from off island. That's why it accounts for the high price. It only comes in so often on the galleons.
All right. So out of character, Vapor is looking to pick up about 50 gold worth of just a mixture of herbs, healing herbs and other herbs as well. So he explains about
you purchased the herbs, and it sounds like you're getting enough to make like 2 potions of healing.
yeah, pretty much.
Okay. So yeah, she has in plentiful supply the healing herbs that you would use to make these standard potions. Is there anything else that you're looking for?
Would he notice anything that would be not illegal, but more of the rare herb qualities?
There are definitely some rare herbs. Are you looking for something that is to do with experimenting with your
Yeah,
condition?
more experimenting.
Like
and
with your condition that you have from the
Yeah.
blood? Yeah. Okay. Make a check. It's like an intelligence check, but it's your herbalism profession, right? So add your proficiency to it.
Okay, that's not good. That's gonna be a 4. Roll
Okay.
the 2.
So she has things that you're not quite sure of. Others you've seen before from what you knew from growing up. And you just kind of do your best to purchase what you think is going to help you. So it's going to kind of box of chocolates, herbs that you've just purchased here. How much are you investing into that?
And well, the total was of all the herbs that he was getting was going to be 50 gold.
Okay, so why don't we do this? Why don't you say you have enough to make 1 potion of healing and then 1 dose of experimental brew?
Okay, that works.
Thank you so much for stopping by, and hopefully you'll come back again, and maybe Bertha will be a new acquaintance of mine in the near future.
I will definitely write a letter to her to start correspondence with you.
Well, it was an absolute pleasure meeting with you.
It was an honor to meet a fellow alchemist ingredient mixture as well.
Well, around here they call me healer, and that's what I do. I take care of people when they're hurt and sick. It's my calling.
Well, healers are most important of all. They will keep us, those who get injured or sick, back up on their feet.
I try. She gives you just like a little cheek nudge, a little pinchy thing, and there you have it.
All right. Vapor is going to say his goodbyes and head on his way.
Does anyone else have anything of interest to do in the
I think
shield fort, the eastern part of the tether?
I think that Adriel would probably just be kind of like interested in the tether in general. Like again, like you said before, like this is the furthest he's been out before. So he'd probably just be like looking around, just exploring the area a bit. Not like looking for anything in particular, just kind of,
Sure. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of narrow cobblestone hewn type streets and different stairs and landings as this goes up a bluff to the edge of the small island here. And there's people coming and going.
Mhm.
A lot of them are travelers traveling through. And there's always some time where like you have to stop and like get off of the main road or even like flatten up against a building as like a cargo cart comes by with Xenas or even a Nykus or 2 pulling stuff. There are some soldiers on patrol, but really it's just these super dense packed in stone structures with these winding roads and a lot of stairs.
Actually,
And
I think
it eventually gets to the like the pinnacle of this is the platform, and there's like a station that's administrated, and like you pay for your crossing. They can see what goods you're bringing out, going out with or bringing in if you're coming the other way. And there's a whole administrative guarded thing up there at the apex at the platform.
Yeah, Aygir actually, much like last time he came through this way, would be particularly interested in watching the mechanisms as they work. So I wonder if he might be wandering around with Adriel as well.
Yeah, I could see that being a thing. Like us just kind of being interested in like these, just sort of this area. Yeah.
All right, so you wander the narrow, winding, and many stepped streets of the tether. It's not a large settlement. Though with the elevation factors in, it's maybe it feels bigger, right? Because you have to spend time going up and down a lot, and there's this stacking effect that it has. Are you more interested in just getting a general feel for the place, or are you interested in something like historical or lore about the location?
Where Aygir's concerned, it's mostly concerned with the mechanics of it, and just figuring out minutia about how it works, and just watching it in action.
Yeah, I think Adriel's probably just like kind of watching it in action, just like looking at sort of the genius of it, if that makes sense. Like I don't know if Adriel would be like trying to figure out how it works per se, because he probably isn't. He's not that inclined for those kinds of things, but he definitely is interested in it as like a whole.
So the two of you go looking around, and maybe you're going to talk to someone. Though I should ask, is Walykos with you two, or is Walykos off on his own?
I think Walykos is off on his own. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to.
I mean, I feel like Walykos would want to be off on his own. Yeah. So, do your thing, yeah.
Okay. And also, I didn't mention this, but it's, I guess, an important minor detail. The wagon ride that you hired here, that's done. Like that, you've finished your passage. And the idea is you hire out a different wagon on the other side, which there's wagoneers ready and waiting on the other side.
It would be pretty crazy to transport wagons over the tether.
Yeah.
Like, you could do it, but the expense is probably why?
Mm-hmm.
Right. I mean, they probably send their goods over just to be picked up. Yeah.
There are weight limits on the carts.
Exactly, that too.
Right.
Yeah. And you'll find out about that here shortly. So we have Adriel and Aygir. You're up at the platform of the east side here, and it really is a big, wide platform up at the apex here. And it's kind of like a bazaar. There are these stalls, and others just have their goods laid out on just blankets and sheets and rugs on the ground. And again, the locals mostly are gnomes. There are a couple elves, but the vast majority are gnomes. And then the travelers coming through would be mostly elves, because that's the common race of this world, of this region. But here and there, you'll see a dwarf, a human, or other miscellaneous folk. And the vendors at the bazaar here are the hawker sort, right? They're barking out things, and you hear all kinds of the fish and smokes and nuts, and they've got just all kinds of things they're trying to sell. This gnome comes up to the two of you. It's a gnome with a dwarf. And
I just want to say, out of character, I cannot now unhear or unimagine them being Robin Williams from Aladdin as the market stall guy.
It is the finest quality. It will not break. Oh,
It's no.
So this gnome comes up to you, and he is a rather pudgy, heavy-set gnome, and he has a dwarf with him. So is a servant or a serf or something, and the dwarf is carrying like this big pack that has these like rods, like not rods, but like a hook thing. What the hell do you call that? Kind of like what you hang your coats on. Well, anyways, he's got these big rotted hooked things that are dangling with wood and rope shelves. So he's like a walking display case, and he's got all these like rope wood shelves things swaying back and forth, and the pudgy gnome guy does all the talking.
Fine quality shelves. Just 1 gold piece each. The best you'll ever need. You won't need them anymore. You won't need any other shelf for the rest of your life. They never break. They do not wear down. Look here. They fold up, easy to compact. Why would you want to go with a traditional shelf that's like this wooden or even metal? That's the worst. Bulky thing, bolted into place, heavy, will fall over on you, kill your firstborn child when he's just a rugrat. No, these, hang them anywhere you go, take them with you when you move house. What do you say?
Quite right you are. Those are
load up 3 or 5 of them for you.
those are indeed an innovation in shelf-making technology, but I'm afraid I do not own a home in which to put shelves.
All the
I
more
have
reason
no
to
need
have
for
them. Where
shelves.
can you put your stuff if you don't have a home? A shelf. But you can't take a normal shelf with you on the streets and on the road. But these wooden ones are easily transportable anywhere you want to go. You can even take them across the tether. They are fully approved.
And yet, for traveling, would not a bag be better?
But bags can break, poke, spring holes. You got to sew them up and...
And shelves are not closing. You can drop something out of them.
Fine. I see that you are a wise man. I will make you a special offer. Instead of 1 gold piece each, 1 gold piece a piece. I'll make you a special offer of 7 silver pieces each.
Now, if you're selling peaches, those on the other hand are hard to come by around here. I would buy a few, but shelves, I'm afraid I do not need them at this time. And
I will tell you all these
it has
shelves
to
for a
decline.
bushel of peaches.
You what? I actually missed that.
I would sell you all these shelves for a bushel of peaches.
Well, if I'm buying peaches, then does that not make you think I don't have any?
5 silver pieces each. I only am doing this because it's only you. And most of the people that come through who are not quite so sharp as you. But I see that you're always going places. And I know that if I sell these to you, even though I'm going to be doing that at a loss initially, you will be telling other people about my good wares and my good name. And that will bring me more business in the long run.
Do I get the faint inclination that perhaps I might actually know this man's name by now, and that it might rhyme with Blommy Flawnstock?
Make an insight check.
All right. That sounds like a plan. I'm just
Swami's just following us around now.
gonna throw my die across the room and then roll another one. All right. On insight, I have a 15.
It might be Lamy, but you're not sure.
He's usually pretty obvious by now. Could just be pushy merchant.
The dwarf who is basically the walking display case doesn't say anything. He has these like saggy bagged eyes, and he's
Well,
just stares out.
a very tempting offer, but sadly, I'm just not in the market for shells at the moment.
Well, next time you come through, I will be here, and I will see you, and that will be the opportune moment. It seems that you are going somewhere of great importance, but when you return, I will be here, though I cannot say that my great offer will still stand. Supply and demand, my good man, supply and demand.
Well, let me know how that goes, and if there's an uptick in demand in the near future, I wish you the best of luck in your commercial endeavors. Now...
Did you say the best of fuck?
I said luck. Do you not understand me?
Luck! I'm sorry, it's I'm not so used to this accent that you have. Where are you from, by the way? You're a peculiar sort of person.
I am from out west, just beyond the rocks of nobodies, and just before you get to business.
Oh, you're from the western half. Oh, it's pretty rare that we get westerners through here. Welcome. Are you heading out from Barnacle?
For the moment. What's it to you?
Well, I am initially from Barnacle, but I've been living here in the Tether for about 20 years.
There
This
have
is
been
another
known
here.
barnacles. That's strange.
Barnacle's not the strangest place that I've seen. You should try Plethris sometime.
Perhaps I shall.
And then he, without even saying goodbye or barely even taking a breath, just goes to this other person who just arrived. You there! Have you ever seen rope shelves? His finest breakthrough in gnome innovation. And he just goes in to do his spiel to the next person that walks by. Shortly after, you've become quite interested in the inner workings of the place, and a soldier. This is an elven fellow actually, and he's mounted atop a Nykus. He is wearing scale armor, has a shield and a sheathed longsword, an elven helm with this big Nicus feather plume crest thing coming off the top in an array of different colors. He says, "No, I'm afraid the giants are off limits. That's not something that you're going to be allowed to see."
Under his breath, inaudibly, Aygir is going to mouth the words, "Oh, is it now, fancy monkey man in your shiny monkey suit?" But is audibly going to say, "Oh, and why is that? Last time I was here, I got to look at them."
Make a deception check.
Oh boy, time to put my charisma score to use. I have a 13.
Piss off.
Well, where would I do that? I don't see a lavatory around.
He just like turns his head in a condescending way as if he's just ignoring that you even exist.
I look at Adriel.
You can hear a sound coming from inside, the largest and tallest of the rock formations. You hear like this constant
I look at Adriel and
eventually, the table stops and like they let off the cargo or the passengers of one of the carts or cable cars, and they start loading up the next one. And there's someone who, they've got like, a wall sectioning it off. And they have a couple of soldiers. They have an official who's like checking people's passages, like basically a little slip or a little ticket thing.
Right, I was going to ask that as like an out-of-character world-building question. So it does actually stop when the carts get to one terminus or another. It doesn't.
Yes.
It doesn't keep constantly going, and you have to like,
Correct.
make sure to time it right that you can get onto a cart.
Yeah, they let off the cargo or the passengers from one cart, and then it continues again. Yeah.
How many are there?
How many cars in total?
Yeah.
Actually, there are a lot of them.
Because, so I guess your whole passage starts on one side, and then you go until they stop because one has reached that side, and then you go and so your journey across is actually in stages. Like
you have pauses.
Times.
Yes, you have pauses as you go across.
Interesting. So you get a good view of the ocean.
Well, you and Vapor took this when you came to Barnacle originally.
Right.
And you remember there were several stops across the Gulf, across the strait here.
Interesting.
So, total number of carts, certainly there are dozens of them.
Right. Interesting. And then on the other side, I assume there's a similar kind of market setup.
Yes, actually, the other side, the Hammer Fort, is quite similar to this one here. There'll be obviously some variants and some differentiations, but it's not, for all intents and purposes, they're like twins.
Right. It's also run by gnomes?
Yep, it's all one operation. Are you interested in finding someone else to talk to that maybe you would answer more questions? You can tell me who you want to talk to.
Probably the nearest gnome.
Just a regular local person who lives here, a different soldier, maybe are you trying to talk to like an official?
Probably a gnome that's nearby that's a gnome that looks like they have access beyond those walls or is, like one of those like train fans that will like watch trains and get really excited about trains as they go by. Like the gnome for the carts, for the tether, for the cable car thing.
Okay. You speak with a gnome who, actually, why don't you do this? I miss having like the gather information and the streetwise skills, but I think we could do it with like persuasion. That seems to be the most fitting one for me in this case. So make a persuasion check.
All right, I can tell you before I roll the die that I fail, but yeah, I got a 5 all told. Charisma is not my strength.
All right, so people either don't care, don't have time of day for you, don't want to talk to a goblinoid, or just don't have much knowledge, right? They just give you these limited answers that don't satisfy your curiosity. So you maybe feel a bit frustrated or flustered. Adriel, are you of a similar mind, or are you doing something different?
I think Adriel's probably just like kind of okay with everything. Like he's just kind of just like walking around this area, just like looking at things. Yeah.
You're feeling out the place, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. What about Walykos?
Walykos is not doing anything particular. I think he's got a lot on his mind as they're heading towards sort of a confrontation, coming up. He's just got a lot going on. So nope, nothing in particular I'm looking for.
Okay. So as time is of the essence, you all need to get across and continue with your journey. And there are two lines to go and purchase your passage. One line is like, there's a word that they have for it, which is an Elvish equivalent of citizen, and it translates to elf or gnome. And then they have another line which is like everybody else, and the attendants will always prioritize the citizen line, and until that's cleared out, they don't help the people in the other line. So there's one amongst you that might be able to get you into that priority queue, which is Adriel. Now, Adriel, you might have to do a bit of finessing here, because you're not a proper true-born, true-blooded elf. You're, in the eyes of some, a mongrel.
Okay. So where would I need to go to try and like get us in the priority? Just at the front of the tether.
You can tell me what you're gonna do. Like, or you just go and stand in that line and act like you deserve to be there? Do you try to talk to like an official and say, "Excuse me, me and
Just
my company
remember-
should be in this line," or do you just say, like,
Don't piss off the flight attendant lady.
Yeah, I think that I'd like to go like talk to someone maybe.
Okay, so I imagine you probably talk to one of the officials or a soldier or something, and they're actually getting someone to come and speak with you. Her name is Primatoltop. She is a gnome of almost 60 years of age. She is the seneschal of the tether, and she comes out in these spider silk robes, and she has her hair pulled back in these nice braids. And there's this hairpin which has this ornate iridescent Nicus feather coming out of it, rouge, and some nice aristocratic makeup on. Jewelry, has a perfume wafting off of her as she walks up to you and then sees your party there with you. And the first thing she does is, you see her eyes kind of like go, like look up, looks you all up and down before she takes that final step to be within close speaking distance.
Yes. How may I be of service to you?
Oh well, my companions and I, we would like to get across on the priority queue if possible. I believe you may know who I am. I'm of the Mantivale house.
Mantivale?
Yes, from oh goodness, I always forget names. Barnacle. From Barnacle.
She seemed to be more surprised at you saying that than anything, and she says,
Very well. Do you have your writ?
I probably would carry that around, yeah. So I'd pull it out and show her I guess my house symbols and all of that.
Right, you produce the document. She, looks it over. Everything's in order here. Very well. And, she speaks to one of the officials attending the place, and she says, you and your retainers, go right ahead. Thank you very much.
As I walk out, assuming Aygir and people are with me, I'm gonna sort of like give them like a sly like smile and say like, "Yes, my retainers." And then I'll continue walking in with like whatever access that they gave me.
Yep.
When Vapor hears Adriel call him a retainer, he starts mumbling something in primordial under his breath.
Good thing I speak primordial. No, I'm just kidding.
Halfway over the tether, you see a figure get shoved over.
Halfway through. Oh, you should have been standing there.
Tragic accident.
Yeah.
So you walk past this long line of people that are waiting. And, the sun's overhead and it's starting to get kind of hot. And you just walk past them all and walk past more of them. And there you go.
Pass.
And and you just, you get behind just there's an old elf guy with like a hand cart. And then there's like, elven man and woman and their children, and they have on some real plain looking clothing. They decidedly do not look like someone from Barnacle. So those two parties, they purchase their passages, fill out their things, and then it's to you all. And the official is a gnomish fellow, and he almost starts to like, wait, oh right, Prima told me about you. Yes. Okay, House Mantvale. Adrian, was it? She said the name.
Adriel, and these are my retainers.
Adr
IEL.
IEL Mantvale. Okay, retainers. There are 3. Yes.
Yes, 3 of them. This is if you need their names, I'm happy to provide them.
Yes, please.
So this is Walykos, and I'll point to Walykos. I'll then point to Vapor. This is Vapor, and that is Aygir.
Yeah. Excuse me. And he looks over to Walykos. Would you be so kind as to remove the covering?
Why?
He looks behind and he points to the wall behind him, and you look up there, and there are a number of nailed into the wall bounties, sketches, sanctions against a number of wanted criminals. You see there is more than one copy of Lami Longstock and the Crossroaders.
I'll sort of like bend over to like closer to the gnome and say, sir, he has a bit of a condition. He's not able to. He needs to keep the mask on for his own safety.
Is it?
Yes, very, very bad indeed.
I see. Give me just one moment. Let me see what I can do. And
I kind of lean forward, exaggerating my hunchback a little bit more.
He goes off, and he comes back with a soldier. It's actually a gnome soldier this time, and the gnome soldier says, "All right, there, come with me. Step over here, please, sir." To Walykos.
I do like a little slow shuffle, like half a footstep.
Just this way. He opens a door and he says, "This will just take a moment."
Yeah, as he brings Walykos, and I'll look to the one that I was talking to and say, "Is this really necessary? We simply want to be on our way." As you can tell, he's in much pain.
I understand. Please, it is entirely necessary. It is for the security and safety of the entire realm.
I'll look to Walykos to sort of see if he's all right with all this.
Walykos, this soldier is asking you to come into a small interior room.
Yeah, I'll go with him. I just kind of like I don't break character. I shuffle step in, like
Okay.
that.
All right. This soldier has, a little piece of parchment of his own. Pulls out a quill. Please have a seat.
It hurts when I sit. I would prefer to stand if that is all right.
Very well. Is this correct? He shows it has your name written at the top.
My name, yes, Walykos.
You've been staying at
I am.
Beirut, in the Storm
Yes,
Tower district of Barnacle.
that is correct. The family, the Mantivales, have taken good care of me. I am an old family friend.
All right. Please remove your mask.
It is very bad. I just wish you to know there is disfiguration. And,
I've seen a lot of things in my day. Thank you for your warning, though.
all right, well, for just a moment then. I reach down and I slowly begin to lift it up, and you can see, like, you know, what might be kind of elven features at first, but then it just gets more warped, you know, the further that gets revealed. And I'm lifting it from the bottom on purpose because the horns are part of the top. I'm only going to lift it enough so that you can see, you know, the face, but the mask will appear to still be connected to the horns.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
Because I assume this isn't the first time I've had to do a little,
Yeah.
you know, show and tell.
Hold just like that. This is Maror. And he casts a detect magic spell.
Yeah, gotcha. He'll detect the trident, I guess,
You have
but
an
nothing.
illusion-wielding bandit leader on the loose in these parts, along
Of
with
course.
the Night Stalker, and other thorns in our asses.
Unfortunately,
Right.
this is
So
not
he signs
an
off,
illusion.
and if you would please, you're welcome to return to your party.
If I may ask, why not just simply cast that spell and just have it going while people are coming to the gate?
If only I could.
Well, all right.
So you return back to your party.
Yep.
They ask, of what you're bringing across, and you all say, you're just traveling. You're not merchants. You're not bringing any goods, any trade cargo, or anything of the sort. They stamp 4 passes, which are these little pieces of paper with an official seal on it, and they hand each of you one, and you go through an interior corridor stairwell. It goes up, and here you are on the upper platform, and you're just waiting in a line to get in one of the carts. And you wait for about an hour or so, and a cart comes. It's your turn. They get it emptied of it was just cargo. They get all the boxes and bags out of it, and part of the kind of check-in, as we call it, that is actually was weighing as well. So I don't think you're all going to be able to fit into one of the cars. They're going to need to split you up into 2 by 2.
So I guess Walykos and Adriel and Vapor and Aygir.
Classic 2. Okay, who wants to go first? Does it matter?
No, actually, you know what? Adriel wants to go with Vapor. I mean, like they just love each other.
That's when you see the body fly out the side of the cart.
And then Vapor starts levitating.
Yeah.
I will be back.
Nice.
All right. So Walykos and Adriel go in one, and then Vapor and Aygir, you wait for some minutes more, not long, and then yours comes. This little family gets off of one, and then you get into it. That little gnome family goes, and you take their place, and you hear the great gear cranking mechanism starting up again, and the groans and the creaks muffled from inside of the rock spire, and there you are, and the winds start blowing upon you, and there's no more ground. You've just got the crashing strait there between you.
So below us is it's like the lava, right?
It's water.
Oh, that's right. The lava is on the. Oh, you're right. Sorry.
Yes,
the outside
ocean
the
that
obsidian
surrounds
barrier to get to the lava.
That's right. That's right.
The obsidian barrier is quite thick. I wasn't sure how to draw it on the map, and I don't know, maybe I'll redo it at some point. But they are it's like a mountain range, like a high mountain range.
Right.
It's really, really big. And it's, probably 2 miles wide of jagged, rocky obsidian stuff.
Gotcha.
So it holds out the lava. The only real piercing point.
The fiery channel, right?
Yeah, this Holmes
Yeah.
Gate here, and that's its own work of gnomish marvel of engineering. So, yeah,
And that's where fire galleons go.
yeah,
onto
fire
the outer
galleons
sea.
come
Okay.
through here. Yep, coming in from other lands. All right, so you go over the Riskakraba Strait, which, by the way, that's named after a god. Riskakraba is a giant crab god, and by legend, he actually cut off this little bit of Eaberg Isle by pinching it in half with his giant pincer claw. And there are some stops along the way. There are several of them as they're unloading and unloading, and then you continue again. And so it's a slow 2 miles, but in the end, it's only 2 miles, so it doesn't take you all day or anything. And you have crossed. All right, so here you're on the other side. There's another platform with the bazaar. There's not really much of a rigmarole on this end of things, as you're just exiting, and you don't have any goods or anything to wait on in a different cart, so you're off. I kind of skipped over this, but I guess you actually stayed the night originally here, and everything we just did was on the next day, which is fine. That's what we planned on anyways. Are you just going to hire out another basic wagoneer? Is that all?
I think that's the plan. Yeah.
Yeah, I would have no problem just
Seems
hiring out.
simple. Yeah, let's do it.
And we're just going to be able to do that. We aren't going to be like accosted along the way by a merchant who's selling folding backpacks with like lazy Susans in them or something.
There are barkers on this side as well, and they try to sell you all kinds of stuff, and maybe you do want to pick up a couple more rations or something. I'm sure you've eaten.
Okay, what is the most fragrant and interesting looking street food being sold?
Oh God.
Oh, it's a squid kind of thing that's on a stick.
Oh hell yeah. I don't know. I was expecting like skewered scorpions or like some mystery meat, but squid, all right, that's solid. I'll buy one.
No scorpions in this part. No.
Also,
amongst the orc folk, yes, but here, no. Squids, though.
Squid in hand, I will make a gift to Vapor of a little bracelet of shells from the Tangle, as the first part of my plan to give a gift of one to every member of our group. Adriel gets 2.
What is this that you're giving us again? Sorry.
Little shell bracelets that the Fearboard children made.
Vapor will willingly take it. Are we realizing where it came from?
What is this?
It is a gift, a token of our friendship. It's.
Did you make this?
I did not make it. No, it's from.
Why is it a token of our friendship if you didn't even make it?
Well, it is a representation of the people that a companion of mine, who sadly is no longer with us, was from, and well, it means something that his memory is shared to you too now.
So you're giving us something with no value to connect us to an old friend of yours, so that we are now friends.
Are you just now starting to understand the concept of gift giving? Were you born under a rock?
Oh, well, I didn't get you anything, so I don't think I should accept this. I'll come up with something.
A gift that
You
is
can
only...
get him something later. Just accept it now. Otherwise, he's going to keep giving it to you until he literally starts forcing it down your throat.
A gift only given in the expectation of something in return is not a gift. It is a product that is sold or bought.
Well, it sounds like you're expecting us to be friends now. That is the purpose of giving this gift. You're expecting something in return. An intangible something, but still something.
Call it a mutual trust exercise. A little, I know you now. I'm definitely not going to stab you in the back offering.
Sure.
Yeah, Adriel is just like the whole thing. Like he's kind of like agreeing with Walykos, not like vocally, but he's also very confused at the gift and everything.
Hey, Adriel, I got you something. I got you a show bracelet.
Yeah, I'll take the second. I have 3 now. I'm saying
Because you described that Aygir got a lot of these, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I do need to figure out some other way to offload the rest if I'm not
Trying to get rid of our junk.
so Adriel just like sighs now that he has 3 of the bracelets, and he just like looks at them, and he just like drops them to the ground, and then just like keeps going. He just doesn't care.
Excuse me, do you not understand the principles of gift giving? Were you born under a rock?
I mean, if it's a gift, he can do with it what he wishes. I feel.
Yeah, shouldn't I be allowed to just like throw it into the dust? Personally, Aygir, I don't really care about your gift.
Well,
Perhaps gift giving is different in Barnacle, Aygir, than it is for us.
let me know, Adriel. Let me know, Adriel, when you are in need of something. In need of help, of
something that's not
savings.
shells.
And I will find a nice patch of dust for you there.
I mean,
At this point, an elven woman comes close to Aygir and she says, I'll buy one of those bracelets. I like them.
Buy them? For how much?
Oh, are you not selling these?
Yes, of course I am. Only the finest mother of pearl from the Tangles outside of Barnacle. It's very shiny, you see.
if you buy 2, you get 1 free.
Ah, yes, see? My partner and I here are constantly trying to outdo each other with our sales pitches. We're known for that. We're Horns and the Hairman.
Well, I've always wanted to meet a Fearbolg, so I'm really honored. I'll do the 3 then.
Oh, she thinks I'm a Fearbold?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, no, Adriel will actually like laugh a bit at that when she calls Aygir a Fearbolg.
Well, oh goddamn, it's Candela better never find out about this.
You did what with our children's bracelets?
I was thinking about impersonating a Fearbolt being worse, but I'll just keep
You
it
did
low.
what?
I'll keep it low key and just not deny that I am one. But how much is she offering?
She didn't make an offer.
You haven't set a price.
Yeah.
She assumes that you're not going to haggle with her.
Well, of course, yes. It's three for the price of 2. Yours only for 10.
10 copper pieces?
One gold piece. Obviously, these are objects of no equal. They are one of a kind, every last one of them.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't have that much money on me.
Well,
sorry. And she just starts walking.
Can
away.
I
turning red like embarrassed blush.
Can I like pick up the I don't know if the ones that I dropped were the ones that Aygir was working with or not, but can I like pick up the ones I had and I'll go up to her and say, I'll sell them to you for 5 copper pieces each.
Oh, okay. She gives you the 10 copper pieces. You give her the bracelets. One of them actually is starting to break a little bit. It didn't survive the fall to the ground very well.
Hey, that's why it's on discount.
And
That's why it's just got it.
she sees it, but she doesn't actually say anything. Just, oh, okay, thank you very much.
Yep, and yep. So I got 10 copper pieces.
Yeah.
Oh boy. And then I'm gonna go up to Aygir and I'm gonna say, Aygir, not everyone is as rich as us.
This reminds me of a saying.
as rich as us? Do you think I am you? Do you think I was born with a silver spoon in my mouth? Do you think I am someone who throws away old clothes instead of washing them?
Oh boy, here we go again. The class divide, the class divide. Aygir, do you ever shut up about the class divide?
I do when I'm far enough away from barnacles. Clearly we are not yet.
Then we need to get going, so therefore we can get farther away from it so you can shut up about the class divide.
All right. Stop being so angry. People will think you're a troll.
the
Vapor's going to say something, and then he stops and goes, "Damn it! I can't say anything anymore."
the thing that I've learned is no matter who you are, where you're from, a fool and their money are easily parted.
Ah, true it is. So you hire out a wagoneer, and there's really just like one left. Most of them have already taken. Wait, what am I talking about? They completely like gather around. There are like vultures, wagoneers, fighting for your business and making offers and like already like kind of shoving you into their wagons, just assuming that you're going to take their ride.
Can I sleight of hand rob one that's like touching me?
Make a sleight of hand check
Because
you attempt
if
to
you're-
rob.
if he's
an
gonna touch me, I'm
an elven
gonna
wagoneer.
yeah, I'll take his cut his purse and be like, no, I'm going on this one. Wow, 21.
All right, so you smoothly cut purse him,
Yep.
and also deny him the business.
I'm like, get your hands off me. I'm not your customer. You know.
Don't touch that one. He's a leper.
Yeah, don't touch.
He's not a leper. He's a fageler.
I'm not your customer, is what I am. So, and come on, Adriel, let's go. And I show Adriel, like I do a little like this, to Adriel, like to show him that I have the purse. Once the back is turned to the guy,
All right, so you go with like the next wagoneer.
Yeah.
He's a kind of a lazier fellow, but he gets going along the road eventually, plodding along with two old Xenas, and you make your way westward from the coastal region. You're really still staying in the coastal region, just a little bit farther away from the coast.
One nice thing about traveling, Adriel, I have to say, is you don't really have to worry so much about shitting where you eat. Like if we tried to pull this in Barnacle, guards might start coming down on us, might start, investigating us. On the road, they'll forget us in a couple days. They won't know what happened.
Yeah, it's the lawless land of travel. It's quite nice.
Walykos, roll 2d6.
2d6 indeed. 1d6, 2d6. 7.
He was a mere wagoneer, but from all the coins in the purse, it totals 7 gold pieces.
I'll take it. Pays back for that room earlier.
You're making your way westward along a decidedly different road this time. And the travel is actually going to take you a bit past sundown. And you're making your way to your next stopping point, which is Redstone. When you're a few miles outside of Redstone still, it's already been, actual nightfall for a little bit. And it's a night in which both the moons are in the sky. And so you get a nice view of these heavenly orbs of both Zarmad and Hisker in the sky. Zarmad is also known as the small moon. It moves through slow phases and is in culture and myth referred to as male. It's always he when referring to Zarmad. And then Hisker is also called the big moon. And Hisker has a much quicker phase. It will go, what we would think of as orbiting. People obviously in this world don't think of it as orbiting, but she is the female moon, and she appears much more frequently and will pass around her phases much faster. But you get a glorious sight where you see them both, and Hisker travels and then passes by Zarmad, starting to elapse him, and then you make it to Redstone. Redstone in this area that you're in still is technically leal to Barnacle and reports to Barnacle, but they have a certain amount of autonomy of their own. The architecture here is decidedly different as well. Redstone is actually named after the style of architecture. It's called Redstone architecture, and it is essentially hewn from stone, and they use clay as well. You don't see any seams, or what do you call it, where you have like masonry or stone stacks?
That's a seam, and it's mortar in between.
Okay, so no seams are visible. They put this ruddy reddish clay exterior on it, smooth it out so it's all just one flowing amalgam. It's this style of architecture originated some centuries ago by orcs that were basically enslaved by giants, or at least under the control of giants. So so you get into the edge of Redstone. There are some soldiers out front, and originally produced by orcs under giant rule. Some notable characteristics as well with this architecture style is they favor these tall, spiky spire things, and they literally have these jutting bits that come out of them. That they're internal supports, but they also jut out into kind of not super sharp spikes, but something like spikes coming out of them at different intervals. Some of them are strictly architectural or even aesthetic. Others actually are big enough to where you can go inside of them and they serve as towers. Redstone is a walled, it's a small settlement. Really what it is it's a soldier outpost and an adjoining hamlet. And the soldiers, they talk with the Wagoneer a bit, and the Wagoneer kind of warned you about this. They typically don't let people inside Redstone armed, neither Sandbeer. If you get some kind of actual permit, you can do so. So Adriel might be able to work that out. But usually it's like, unless you're like an elf of note or a gnome of note, you're not going to bring in weapons or arcane implements.
How do they handle it if you have a weapon? Like, can they peace bond it or something? Like, what's the story?
They hold it.
They hold it. Yeah, it's...
I'll try. So we're like kind of.
You should be okay with like a walking stick or a basic staff, farming implements, but you're not going to get in with like a wizard staff or a sword or an axe and things like that.
I mean, I'm not giving up the trident. Yeah.
Yeah,
so...
my weapons are like fused to my armor when not in use. So
well, Vapor can go in. His is just a quarterstaff that he uses as a focus.
Would they not take an arcane focus?
Would they take even a dagger?
And a quarterstaff and a wizard, like an arcane staff.
Would they take like a utility dagger?
Difference, but they have someone who inspects, and if they see that or a spell component pouch.
Yeah, what about like what Walykos is asking, like a dagger?
Like a dagger is like almost a common tool.
Like this is just what I use to eat my fruit with. Like, why do you need this?
Well, maybe they have some weird, like, strange Byzantine set of rules about like a
like if they took every
knife.
person's dagger. Can you imagine how many daggers they'd be taking?
Well, no, they'd be taking daggers, not knives.
Dagger, yes, they would take. Like a little knife.
Like a pocket
dinner knife? No.
Yeah. Okay. So
they have a length, like a blade length, and a dagger would be exceeding it. Okay. Now you don't have to go into Redstone. You can, if you want, you can stay outside and just kind of camp beyond the outskirts.
The same thing is going to happen in Sandbeer. So
yeah, so you'll have to kind of figure out what you want to do with Sandbeer. Though there also is a possibility, like I said, where Adriel might be able to work.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna do. Where
you have like a noble pedigree, I guess is what it's called.
Yeah, that's kind of
your house Mantavale.
Yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to do. Like when we got to the entrance of Redstone, like maybe talk to the guards and see if I can figure something out.
Yeah.
What do you have there? Let's see it.
Well, I'm of the House Mantavale from Barnacle, and I'll sort of show my Yes, I was wondering if it'd be all right if we just we're just staying here the night, right, guys? I think. Mm-hmm. Yeah, if we can just stay here the night, we'll be in and out as quickly or very quickly. I don't think there's a reason to take any of our items. You can check us, of course, make sure we're not carrying any sort of contraband. And if they do anything, and I'm gonna look at the three of them, right? And if they do anything, they'll have to answer to the Mantavales, and we'll deal with it.
It's an odd company that you have here, but I've seen many different travelers coming and going. You look like a mercenary company or treasure hunters.
Simply travelers, wanting to explore the regions outside of Barnacle. At least for myself, I haven't traveled much in the past, and I've been wanting to explore and see more of the world.
Is this Mentavale business?
No, not Mentabel business, just my business. Just wanting to see more. These three are my retainers, you see. They travel with me.
I'm going to mark you down as treasure hunters. That's the best I can make out of it.
And does that
If
mean
you
we have to
disagree
keep
with that, then don't hold it against me. It's, I'm not branding you as marauders or bandits. You're probably going to have problems in Sandbia, though. You're very irregular. I don't know how else to put that to you. And I mean, you know, it is what it is. Like, you're a human thing, and you've got these other assorted motley company with you. You've got the writ, but it's like some might not take that writ seriously. Tether,
Part of me,
whatever.
sir,
You just need to go across the tether, and you're paying us. Cool.
Right.
Redstone, whatever. This guy sees rough and tumble crews come and go all the time, but Sandbeer, they're gonna look at you and be like,
the sheriff's
"You're a
like,
bastard," and you've got this weird motley crew with you, and we don't want your weird.
the
stuff
sheriff
going
is like, "Oh, this is a note from your mom." Yeah, crumple.
on.
Yeah. Is it all right though if we come in with?
Was this was this
with the item?
your shield? A simple piece of paper?
Yeah. So the it was like a guard captain or a sergeant that you're talking to in Redstone. He's like, "It's fine with me. You can stay here. You don't have to go, sleep out in the rocks and the bushes."
Question.
But I'm just giving you advance warning now.
Yeah.
Sandbeer stands more on etiquette and rule. They're more prim. You're probably going to have problems there.
Here's the question.
Unless you're okay with them holding on to your belongings for a time.
Can I ask a question?
What's that?
My question is, at Sandbeer, if we had passage arranged on a ship and we didn't enter the city, could we go with our equipment straight to the ship?
Yes. You can go to the wharf and speak with one of the officials there. They'll
Perfect.
have someone, escort you to the ship, and you'll be fine.
Excellent. That will be not a problem then.
No, but there's a lot of regulation there on the carrying and possession of weapons.
Yep. I say to the others, if we don't want to give up our equipment to careless, getting lost guards, I think we should send someone into Sandbeer to arrange passage, and we'll wait until the passage is secured, and then
it should be fine if they do hold on to your items. I don't want to give you the idea that they're going to rob you of them.
Well,
one of the guards nearby, at him giving you that assurance, one of the other guards is like, "Yeah, but I saw what happened with that that one fellow, and he was erupting mad that they lost his sword."
Well, if we are not to be trusted by them, then something tells me they can't be trusted by us. You say an erupting man was very mad that lost his sword? Who was that?
Oh, I don't know who he was, but yeah, someone who tried to bring a sword in a Sandbeer. He let them take hold of it, and they said that they lost it. He said they stole it. He was outright livid about it.
And I'm sure that no repercussions came to the guards in Sandbia.
I don't know.
Well, it's not going to be an issue because
that's not our training.
When we get to Sandbeer, we're going to stop. We're going to get passed on a ship before entering the city itself. Unless you guys do your own thing, if you want to give your weapons up, that's on you. But I think we should focus on getting that passage and then go straight to the ship.
I think that was the plan all along. I don't see why we would do anything else.
Oh, you'd like to do shopping? I don't know. You might want to tour the town.
I don't want to tour the town. I'm telling you now.
Excellent.
We have a job to do. Sandbia sounds like not my kind of place.
Well, then let's go there tomorrow and
right.
take care of it. Yeah.
So it's settled. You stay the night at Redstone, and it's pretty Spartan accommodations, but so be it. And then the next day, you make the final jaunt of the land-based travel, and the wagon driver, yourselves, and a few other passengers that are along with make this long trek, and you get to Sandbeer pretty much right before sundown.
Quick thing, before we actually get to the actual entrance of Sandbeer and everything, because it seems like this might be a way of potentially getting us in or making it easier. Could I use my disguise kit to make myself look like an elf?
Sure. You can, though. I mean, on your pedigree, it specifically.
Oh, it doesn't say human. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Never mind. Never mind then.
You are a human.
I got better.
Fair enough. Sorry, I didn't know. I didn't know if it just said like Mantavale.
Born of Lady Florina Mantavale.
Gotcha. Okay, never mind.
I'm not even sure how they would phrase it with your father situation.
Yeah, I won't do that then.
It would list the family line up as far as they can
father
go.
is the dwarven guardsman.
They would just list who the father is. It wouldn't list if they want to be specific, they could just list the species as well.
It might say bastard begotten of the dwarf Gentiljar.
Yeah, I won't do the disguise kit then. Never mind.
So
shall we pause it there?
Okay, so Sandbeer appears. It's a tall structure. This was originally built to house giants built by these, orcish servitors in the redstone architectural style, just in a much grander style. And there are like these multi-spire walls. Usually you see like a wall, and after some while a tower, then a long stretch of the wall. It doesn't do that here. It's these spires real close to each other with walls, short wall connectors. They got spikes jutting out. They've got arrow loops. There's a high city wall with these big spiky spire things. Yeah, it's of giant magnitude. Now, having been in Barnacle will dwarf it, but Barnacle dwarfs almost everything. There's a wharf district as well, and the whole place is pretty well regulated and protected. There's some history of this place as well. I won't dive super deep into the history, but the basics of it is there was an early victory here that the elves won in the war against the giants. This was like an early decisive victory where they got a foothold in what used to be called Eaberg, nowadays Haven Isle. And at the end of the war, they took all the giant corpses and made this like mass, well, there's more than one, but they were like mass pyres that they did out on the water. And they renamed the place Sandbeer. So yeah, it has history and points of pride for the elves and for House Drakestone. The port here is a regional coastal port. They don't receive fire galleons. That's only Barnacle. All right. So Walykos, you had an idea of just bypassing going into it's a castle town, right? Bypassing going into the town.
Yeah, if we can head to the docks.
Sticking to the wharf. Yep.
So
hop
out and
you speak with a wharf official, and it seems fine. You're staying outside the city walls.
Yep.
You're just looking for transportation. You're just an en route party.
Yeah, we are not going to mess with anyone in Sandbeer. We're just booking passage and we're on our way.
Now, you say booking passage, though it's a little bit more scoundrelly than that.
Yeah, of course. But guess who is well designed to handle scoundrels?
Yes.
But Esper.
Are you going to like a wharf tavern? Are you? What are you doing to try to locate someone who is a salty enough dog to to sail out to the accursed Black Rock Isle.
Yeah, I think that definitely going to a local town. I'll ask, find a CD local place, and then I'm gonna actually go there and take a little bit of. I'll be like, give me an hour, and I'll be back. To the others. And while I'm taking this little short rest at the tavern, perhaps a serendipitous encounter could be arranged.
Mm-hmm.
For
Very well.
It seems fitting since this is kind of like my journey is to go to Black Rock Isle. So.
Yeah, that's it. All right, so you find yourself in a tavern known as Tiptoe, which is just across the street from another tavern named Sleddy's, and it's a fairly boisterous place. It's getting into evening time now, so a lot of people are supping there, and after that, we'll be partaking of various smokes. There is a mixed assortment. There's a lot of elves, but here and there you see a gnome, a human. You see even a crew of halflings. And you go and you speak to the halflings and, well, let you tell me.
Yeah.
Are you pretty just blunt about it? Like, hey, we're on an adventure. We're going to Blackrock. Can you handle that or not? Or are you get in good with them? Chat
I feel like I would do a bit more of a chat. Obviously we don't just tell Han Solo, hey, we're rebels, needing to book passage to Alderaan. It's no, we're looking to book passage for 4 people, but we need it to be someone who's willing to go places that others may not. Once I get that list kind of narrowed down to those people that are willing to take more risks, that's when I'll bring up the destination.
This first group of halflings, they are from the flotilla.
Yep.
They are not up for it, but they point you in the direction of a different group of halflings, particularly to one Maxwell Fruck.
Maxwell Fruck, really? That's funny.
Well, I mean, he though.
To the
max.
To the max.
Ah.
So you find this fellow. The other halflings point him out to you there at the tavern on the other side of the tavern. Again, smoky, dingy tavern, quite loud. A lot of people merrymaking there. And there he is at his table, and he's in the midst of talking to an orc, actually. There is an orc. By the way, the halfling, he's with 2 other halflings at his table. Another guy and a female. So there's two guys and 1 girl, halflings.
Okay.
And they're seated, and they're talking to an orc. And the orc is speaking to them in Giant. Is that a language that you are familiar?
No, unfortunately, my character doesn't have any languages aside
from. He's a mottled, gray, grimy skinned, like a dark browny gray skinned thing with this, shaggy, wily hair, some tusks jutting out, this orc nose, low set, heavy brow. Pretty muscled thing, as orcs usually are. Crude animal furred hair, clothing. You're not in the city, and he is definitely equipped.
Estamos esperando as much more meses.
Já falei tantas vezes que muito pronto basta não nós ter toda mais consink.
And they seem to be negotiating something. The orc looks quite unhappy, though. He has a scowl on his face. Also, I want you to make a perception check.
Sure. Yeah, I'm shuffling up to them. So, natural 20 plus 3, so 23.
That's a good perception check. Okay. It's. Do you have dark vision?
I do not believe I have dark vision.
Okay,
I'm pretty
yeah,
sure I
actually, you
don't.
roll it with disadvantage then. So give me another roll.
Well, at least I know I've got a 20 on the other rolls. So
Yeah.
only a 10. total.
Okay. So there you are in the dim, dingy, smoky tavern, and the orc does not accept what the halfling has just said, and he reaches out and he grabs the halfling by his throat and starts lifting him up.
I told it for I go into my vessel.
And I'm at that point, I feel like from behind my cloak, I reach back, I pull the trident, and I just like poke the half orc with the tip of the trident.
Yeah, full orc.
Full orc. I apologize.
Full on.
Yeah, full orc. And I say, now that's no way to treat a captain. I suggest you put him down unless you want 3 new, gill holes in your side. I'm poking him right in the ribs, So
you do that,
yeah.
and it was pretty clever of you to do that, but there was a thing that you didn't notice,
Sure.
and you were actually getting shot as soon as you put your weapon against him.
Yeah, that's
so I
fine.
will have to roll the actual attack rolls.
I need you to roll the actual attack
Yeah.
because there's things that would happen.
Give me 1 second to switch over to a thing where I have stuff.
I'm also getting all my stuff ready. I think that's a second level under. Let's see. Yep, there it is. Do I see what's attacking me?
Not initially, but they get revealed after the fact.
So I guess it matters for basically they're getting like a sneak attack on me is kind of what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, they might miss. We'll see.
That is a possibility. Okay. It's a critical hit. This is really going to hurt. There's 2 of them, and this first one's really going to hurt. So why don't I just roll the damage now and get it out of the way?
If I could, the problem is because it's a sneak attack, I can't even use any
Yeah, you don't have any reactions. Yeah, you put the trident to him, and he doesn't even respond. It happens so fast.
I get shot in the back. Yeah,
it happens so fast. So there's a hand crossbow shot, and you get hit with a sneak attack critical hit.
Jesus. Okay, well, I'm probably going down.
$29 piercing damage.
I'm down.
Oh my god. All right.
Yeah.
There were 2 shots. The next one is a 11. It's an 11. No, obviously not. No, even unconscious, it's not going to get through your armor or whatever.
Yeah.
All right. So there's 2 shots. Did you come here alone, or is everyone with you?
To the best of my understanding.
Oh, he's on his own.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't even think Adriel's with Walykos right now.
Yeah, I thought that I was just going to have a conversation, not get shot down in the street with a single shot.
Oh, man.
So we're going to pause things there on this cliff.
No, let's see. You don't want to see so that I know whether I'm making a character for next time or not? Because I'm either going to stabilize or they're going to kill me.
Here, because I think what happens next is more complex and involved and will take us longer amounts of time. Because you did serendipitous encounter.
I did.
Yeah.
And then I got one shot.
What's that?
So then I got 1 shot down to negatives. So I should be making death saves to see whether or not I survive.
Yeah, I'd like to pause it on a cliffhanger.
Sure.
Yeah, I think that's good. Woo! Okay, so everybody, hold on to the edge of your seat until next Sunday. We will be playing just 1 week from now.
Indeed, same place, same time.
Shuffle around, so we'll be
same bat channels, same bat time.
The next 2 Sundays. Will Walykos meet his doom at the hands of Orc rogues. All right, let's see.
Will
what-
Aygir's
What
lost brother ever
unknown
wake up
would
from that
possibly
coma?
want to kill our dear Walykos? Find out next time to see if he even survives.
I certainly hope he does. I think it's going to be a more involved scene. With
If
these
if he doesn't survive, Adriel might be killing some people next
I
time.
mean, I'm just amazed that like I go to like RP with him and I get shot, just like a bullet hole to the back of the head, and then cliffhanger, end of the episode.
Yeah.
No, it's more like the crossbow bolt is fired and then cut right there.
No,
For the most- because we don't know if you're going to die.
We hear the bullet go off, and then just it scrolls down, and you see the blood start to like pool underneath his shirt, and then he falls and cut.
And that's it. That's all we know.
All right. Until next time.
Yep.
Thank you, everybody, and have a good evening.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.